voices that we hear each other.
Yeah.
I do not care what I'm facing. No. I do not care for your hate. Ooh. My God said I'm amazing, but watch how I get information with no hesitation. Yeah. With no hesitation. With no hesitation. With no hesitation. Yeah. With no hesitation. Watch how I walk out my greatness with no hesitation.
This is about to go out. Okay, we've got like 3 minutes here, and we're just letting the last of the people in, and it is good. Try, hold on just a second. There we are. Okay. All right, here we go. Who is Jesus? Jesus is my master, my Lord, and my Savior. He is the firstborn of the begotten sons. He is the true living God. He is the Son of God. He is God. Let me explain to you, because a lot of people don't know who Jesus is. I hear a lot of people saying, in the name of Jesus, but they have no power back in the name of Jesus. When we say in the name of Jesus, that is your passport to be able to have all of access to heaven. That when I say in the name of Jesus, the power backs that name. It is my passport to get everything that I need on earth as it is in heaven. Because I have a relationship with him. Because he's a real person. Because it's not a God, he's my God. Let me go to the word of God and explain to you why he is so amazing. In the beginning was the word was with God, and the word was God. He was with God in the beginning. That's John, the 1st chapter. When you go to the 9th verse and the 3rd verse, they tell you 2 things. All things were created by him. All things were created by him. All things were created by him, with him, and nothing was created that was not created by him. What? He created the heavens and the earth. He's the one that's speaking, let there be light. When it says Elohim, in the beginning, God created. That word Elohim is God created. They're talking about the same person. He is God. Now, when you look in the
Hey, everybody,
welcome. So we have enough people in right now. We'll still continue to let people in, but we're really excited about today's workshop. Yesterday's was absolutely phenomenal, and we're looking forward to this one being, even they're getting better and better. Amazing and amazing and amazing. I'm really excited. I'm Prophetess T&T, Tara Nicole Tarver. I am of the Lifeline. I am the founder of Lifeline Ministries and Global Ministries, and what we do is we reach out to people, we help people, we educate people, but we've been a resource during this time, especially to going through everything that people have been going through with COVID-19. It's been a great time to rethink your life. If you guys have been rethinking your life and planning and cleansing things, let me see you just wave your hands. Just wave your hands, talk to me, you guys, or I won't see. If you guys have been cleaning things out, if you guys have been seeing what your next step is, come on, let me see. Come on. I see a bunch of you guys. All right, awesome. You guys having ideas? Because God is giving you guys ideas. If God's been shifting you, you're in the right place. If God has been speaking to you, you're in the right place. If you've been having dreams, you're in the right place. If you want to do better, and you found out that you don't want to just rely on the government for your money, you are in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. And these are called what we call divine connections. So these divine connections are awesome today because it's really a divine appointment for us to be here. I literally talked Dallas Stokes up, you guys. Just a couple weeks ago, I was like, I haven't heard from him in a long time. I need to call him. I was watching one of my sons who has a clothing line, and he was saying he was working super hard on all of his things for his clothing line. And I looked and I said, you know what? I want my spiritual son to have better designs, because I see how he's working. And so sometimes you have a piece of it, you have the passion for it, but you have to connect with the right person. How many people know that? It's all about sometimes who you know, and it's about how connected you can be. And one person and a connection can change your life. So I literally said to myself, told him, I'm going to connect you with my friend Dallas. So all of a sudden I'm on a live one day and Dallas sees me doing a live on Instagram, which I never do to Instagram. And he calls me and I'm like, hey, how are you doing? Oh my goodness, I was just talking about you. See, it left my mouth and now it's coming to pass. Sometimes you guys just have to speak it out your mouth. Like literally, if you're already thinking about your clothing design company, let me just see how many of you guys actually have the name already picked out. Let me see, wave your hand if you know the name. Let me see, just wave your hand. Okay, I see only one person has the name of theirs yet. 2 people, 3, 4, 5. Okay, come on. All right, I see more and more people saying they have their name. This is really important to name it, because when you begin to name it, you actually it brings it to life. So when I speak something into existence, I can call it by name. If I pick up the phone and I call Dallas called me, I answer. You have to call it. It doesn't become an it becomes something that materializes and it has a name then. You can change the name later if you have to, but you have to have some kind of relationship with it, So very important to choose your name. That's just a little prophetic moment right there. Start calling it forth, start speaking it into existence, start seeing it in your mind, start seeing it develop. So literally I'd already saw myself talking to Dallas and I was like, oh, I'll give him a call. And he called me. So I knew God was working. And I was like, okay. I was like, oh, so are you still in Texas? Where are you at? He's in China. I didn't think he'd be in China right now, but I was like, where's he at? And so he's like, oh, I moved back to LA. I'm like, what? You moved back to LA? I was so excited. I was like, this is even better. I was like, thank you, Lord. So I'm praying every way through. That's another key, you guys. Commit your plans to God. Proverbs 16:3, and they shall succeed. Okay. You want to commit your plans to God. So I'm adding God into the plan. Like, oh God, I'm praying. I think this would be a good connection. And I really would love him to help my son because he's an awesome designer. And so next thing you know, he calls me and I said, well, can we do this meeting? We set up the meeting and push come to shove, all these different things happened where everything worked out perfectly. We ended up in a mini meeting in my house and it was fire, you guys. And we knew we had to give it to the world because he not only has ideas, he started so young, just drawing, and his gift made room for him. Your guys' gift may make room for you. Maybe you're just good with sales. Maybe you're the graphic designer. Maybe you're like my son who started drawing and now he's drawing on the computer and he's doing amazing artwork that is off the chain. Or maybe you're like my 12-year-old son drawing these strange little things. Like I was sitting there looking at him have a conversation with Dallas and he showed Dallas one of his designs and I'm thinking like it's not really nothing, right? Dallas said, oh, a design like that just sold for $1 million. I'm looking at him like, wait, what? Hold on, wait a minute, $1 million. And he went and showed us which company, how much they paid for it. And he was like, yeah, and he encouraged my son. Now my son has been drawing. Maybe you need the encouragement. And that's why God brought Dallas Stokes to you. Maybe this is your way in. You're saying, okay, I got this plan. I got this. I don't know. I'm stuck. And this is your answer. However, whatever reason you're here, you're going to be advanced with your reasoning because you cannot get something from someone who does not have it to give you. And all you guys who are selling offerings, I love you guys because they're already connecting to collect. So God bless you guys. I saw a few of them come through. I didn't catch your names, but amen. We thank God for you because they understood the value in this man of God. And so I really appreciate him for so many reasons. I met him when I was first modeling at Dada Footwear many years ago. Let me see, I was like 20. Oh man, it's like, tell him my age, like 19 years ago, we met and he was making shoes there, but he's made shoes for the best of them. Oh my goodness. I mean, you name it. He has worked for N1. Louis Vuitton, you name it. Like people consult him for everything, you guys, from shoes to apparel to clothing to bags to you name it. He can do it. He's done it all. He's just a creative genius, and I really thank God for our friendship and our relationship. And he's known anybody and everybody you could know. He's a humble person. He's a kind person. This is probably a lot for him because he's not really like that kind of a person that's like likes to be put on a pedestal, but I appreciate him. And so I have to give honor where honor is due, because he does have it to give to you guys. I want you guys to know who you're talking to. And I want you to know too, on our website, that you can actually schedule a consultation with him. If you want to speak with him after, just go to lifelinetnt.org and you can schedule a consultation with Dallas Stokes there. And then you guys can get going. So it's amazing. Kiki, Facebook, you guys gotta watch Facebook for me, because they're asking questions and I can't answer them, guys. So, okay. So I want you guys to get your pen, get your paper, be willing to ask questions, because it's your season and it is your time. And he is anointed to give what he has. And he's taking his time out to do this. He's got so many major projects. I've never seen anybody work as hard as he works, and he's working all the time, but he took time out because he feels like God has called him to empower people and help people and unlock you guys. So during this time of COVID-19, we have been a Lifeline resource center, literally a lifeline to people. So we've done, this is our clothing design workshop. We did a dream interpretation workshop. We have one coming up on, if you're interested in makeup and hair as celebrity makeup artists. We have how to start a childcare. I have a friend that went from welfare to making $25,000 a month. I didn't say a year, I said a month. We're also, which one? Conflict resolution. You need all those skills. So conflict resolution class. We have a leadership development, and we have free classes on Wednesday you guys can sign up for. Not to mention that we also have a marriage seminar that we do on Fridays right now for the next few weeks, and it has been fire. So you guys can actually get connected on any of these media sources. She's showing it right now, and she's gonna scroll through. We have our children's ministry for children. And in addition, if you are wanting to start a business and you're not quite sure where, but you want to say, okay, I want a 501c3, we literally are partnering with Reverend Manns, Deborah Manns. She is actually showing people how to get your LLCs, how to get your 501c3s, how to get your things set up properly, decently, and in order. Your business plans, we're huge on business plans, because if you guys are prospering, the kingdom prospers. God didn't call you guys to be borrowers. He called you to be lenders and not borrowers. So that's why we're here. And that's what you guys can expect with the Lifeline ministry. I just a little bit, if you guys don't know me, this is my 60-second testimony of who I am. My father was an ex-NFL football player. When I was born, he was playing for the Patriots and Eagles. They have 5 boys and I'm their only daughter, and all of their children have went to college on scholarships, athletic scholarships. So we have that anointing to pass down to people. They've all been leaders. My daughters went on to play basketball at a D1 school and also go get her master's degree. So we carry education. Success is huge. My last name is Tarver, which means leader. And we do ministry and we set the captives free. We bind up broken hearts. We do amazing things. If you've never seen the power of God move, you probably want to get connected with Lifeline TNT Ministries, because where we are, God moves powerfully the same way he did in the Bible. We cast out demons. We lay hands on the sick. We help people have fun. We love music. We have a music workshop, by the way. My son, Dala, that was his music that was just playing. We have a workshop of how to get into the industry. So we're very much about building your business. So I love that. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn this over to my dear friend. And I just am so proud of him, of all he's been doing and all that God is using him to do. And so I'm going to say no more, and I'm going to release you over to Dallas Stokes. Dallas, start talking. Woo! Everybody's clapping.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, Dallas, do you want to know where everybody's from? Okay, so we have Jersey
Yeah, I've
City,
been reading the. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Virginia, Arizona, Oregon, Rialto, California, Bellflower, California, Miami's in the house, Jersey City's in the house, I think I said, New York's in the house, Stafford, Virginia, I think I said some other ones there, East Beings, they said, yes, I thank you for East Coast being on here. We've had people on from Canada and San Antonio, Texas, Casa Grande, Arizona, and anywhere else. If I missed you, we welcome you. We're glad you're here. Lakewood, California, Ventura, California, Margate, Florida. Never heard of that, but that's awesome. We'll be coming there to visit. Atlanta, Georgia, Los Angeles. I'm really glad they're all over and people are still coming in. So we thank God for you guys. So go ahead, Dee. Oops.
Yeah, I'm thankful you guys are all in the house too. Hi everyone. I'd just like to start off by kind of saying this workshop isn't to teach anyone how to draw or create their product, the physical product. So if anyone is here under that impression, I apologize. This is more towards helping you formulate your ideas and what you do. As she said before, I've worked with multiple companies, you know, Adidas, Reebok, Puma, pretty much everyone. And it got to a point where I was seeing them, they were making a lot of money off of what I was creating. And I was like, something's not right. So I left corporate America, the corporate structure rather, and started my own business, my own consultancy firm. So I've been very blessed to work with, you know, just incredible people. We started a line called Protege at Kmart. When Shaquille O'Neal left Reebok, we helped him get his start and his entrepreneurial visions and path, which was amazing. But just down and down the line, I've been blessed to be able to work with some of the top athletes. Master P actually bought me my first computer. He was great. He taught me a lot about being in business for yourself and learning to manage your sorry, I'm a little nervous. I'm sorry, but you know, so it's been great, and I'm just here, I think, to help anybody that has any ideas or things. I think one of the most important things that Props has said was that first thing you have to do is start with a name. Your product has to have a name that resonates with you and with the direction of the brands the brand and where you want to go with the brand. And there's a few important things about a brand name. And the first thing is it can't be long. Like if you have something that's more than 6 characters, you're going to have a little trouble due to the fact that now in the world that we live in, everybody has to search your brand online. So if you have a long or intricate name spelling or things of that nature, you're going to have a lot of problems with people finding your brand. So I think that's one of the first things. I was given advice from a guy a long time ago. He said, man, look at all the great companies. You know, there's Adidas, there's Nike, there's Reebok. These are all short names and names that are very easy to remember. So that I'm very glad she touched on first is extremely important. Know your brand and also know what the name is. And when I say know your brand, hold on here, let me pull up my information here. When I say know your brand, I think it's important that you identify with what exactly it is you want to do. A lot of people make a mistake when they come to me. And I say a mistake because regardless of whether they get it going or not, you know, it's my responsibility to help them get it going or not. You know, they don't understand it. I have to charge you for the time that you spend. So when you come to me and you have 50 million names, and you have 50 million ideas, you know, it kills a lot of time. So know the name of your brand, know the direction of your brand. And one thing I always tell everybody, first and foremost, before you even get into this business, get into the business of being in business. This is very important. And what I mean by that is you have to get your name trademarked. That's the very first thing you have to look into. You have to look into protecting your brand and the name of your brand. So it is extremely important that once you find this name, before you make a shirt, before you buy any product, before you do anything, you make sure legally it is even possible for you to move forward. I once made the mistake of, I had a brand called the Black Sheep brand. And Black Sheep was fairly simple. And I thought, you know, it'd be great. So I started just pumping out all this stuff. And then I got into a situation where I got an order from Finish Line. And it was like half of their stores, and they were putting me in the window and things of that nature. And then the trademark came back. And the trademark was like, you can't use Black Sheep. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I've created shoes, I've created clothing, I got marketing, I've paid for advertising and this was back when you advertised in magazine, it cost you thousands of dollars. Like one advertisement alone for 1 month could cost you $5,000. And I'm sitting there like, oh man, I gotta yank it. So what we did was we had to literally add a whole name in front of it, which we got away with it. It was the infamous Black Sheep brand. And then I even spelt it differently to try and keep it. It was I'm famous as opposed to infamous. I spelt it differently in that manner. But it was a very expensive and hard lesson to learn. So, like I say, the one thing that eludes a lot of people is before you get into the business, get into the business of being in business. It is very important. I can't stress it enough. Find out what the trademarks are. Find out when you talk to a trademark lawyer, or I tell a lot of people all the time and they're amazed, go to legalzoom.com. LegalZoom.com, you literally can get everything you can get a lawyer to do for you at sometimes a better price. But the reason why I say that is because sometimes it's very hard to find the proper lawyer that can handle your issues. So I've done companies with LegalZoom, I've done companies with lawyer, whatever you can do, get it done that way. So those two things are very important. Your name and protecting your name. I mean, those are extremely important things for you to do before you, like I say, buy one product. Secondly, it's interesting the way that the industry has changed. Some of you may be on here to try and figure out how to build a product, and then you say, after I build it, I'm going to sell it to Nike, or I'm going to sell it to Reebok, or I'm going to sell it to Adidas, or it doesn't work like that, and it doesn't always look the way that people think it looks. Companies, if you know anything about music and the music industry, the music industry is less likely to give you a deal or give you a good deal if you don't have a following. One of my favorite designers, I love this kid to death, man. I've known him forever. We're from Chicago, is Jerry Manuel. He has a line called Fear of God. Most people don't know before he had Fear of God, which does things with Nike. He had another line called Android Home that he and a very incredible, talented guy named Javier, they both worked on it together. And Fear of God and Jerry, people think that he just came up with this cool thing, and then the next thing you know, Nike bought him. First and foremost, they didn't buy him. He still owns his property, which is incredible. And Nike has come along, and they've breathed a different life into him. But before that, he was doing it by himself, and then he did it with Vans, and he was doing, there was so many other ways. So the reason why I tell you this is that don't think that your idea is so amazing or so incredible that once you get it out there, you're gonna just instantly get, swallowed up by some huge company or huge corporation. Never do that. And the reason why I say never do that is because just like the record industry, I'm sorry?
I was saying, I love that you brought that up about like fear of God, because I remember when I was telling you that Jerry was at our house when I was married to Lance, and he was saying, he was in the beginning stages. He wanted to get a shoe made. You guys think about this. It came with the idea, like he wanted to get the shoe made, and a lot of people would come to my ex-husband. My ex-husband owned an international shoe company, and the factories were in China, and he would go to Taiwan a lot, and we had a factory in Taiwan. And so that's actually where I met. When I started, I would model for the shoe company, and that was when I got my Women of Noble Character brand sponsored by their company. Dallas worked there, and we actually became friends. So later on, here comes Jerry, and Jerry wants to do a shoe. And it was beginning stages. And a lot of people think like, oh, this person's never going to be able to do this, or it's impossible. Well, if you really look at it, I know his sister, I know his mother, I know his father, I know the family. And he came from a good stock family, and he had determination and passion, and he drove it. He had a good following. So he was able to do something. You guys have to think about this. If you have drive and determination, how about this? Let's say God just spoke to you guys and he gave you an idea. I'm telling you right now, it can happen like that. It can come to you in a dream. Dallas, have you ever actually had like the vision to come to your mind, or you went to sleep and you dreamt something, you saw it and you got up and drew it? Have you ever done that before?
All the time.
See, so that tells me that God is actually leading a lot of his designs. And when God leads it, they usually work exceptionally great. Like for myself, when I started Women Noble Character, I literally had a dream 3 nights in a row. And I kept saying the first 2 nights, that seems like a lot of work. That seems like a lot of work. The third night, I said, I'll do it. And here we are 17 years later, it changed my life. It put me on the right path, because your purpose and your path should cross. So that guy that he was talking about, Jerry from, Jerry Manuel, he literally just got this idea and began to run and press with it. And I remember those times when it was nothing. And when you see it now, it's became hard work and dedication and commitment. And now he's able to reap. So you have to be willing to work. You have to be able to take the no's. You have to be really ready to hear everybody say, oh, that's not going to work out. But if God, you know that God gave it in your heart, you want to really press with it anyway. Go ahead. Back to you, D.
Yeah. So, no, like I was saying, but Jerry, he grinded a lot of years and he was in great circles in order to push it through. And then finally, after years and years of grinding, he was able to Nike was able to approach him and to use him as a vessel as well to further spread the word and things of that nature, which is amazing. It is amazing what he's done. But getting back to what I was saying, as good as any idea that you have is, and this is the other thing that a lot of people don't realize is, there's people that get up in the morning, 5 days a week in an office, 2 days a week at home sometimes. This is what they do every day. So I hear a lot of kids, and I talked to a guy last night, and he was like, man, I don't want to put myself out there, and I don't want to put my work out there because somebody's going to steal it or Nike's going to steal it. Or you can't think like that. You need as much exposure of your work and how you think as you possibly can, because believe me when I tell you, they start watching you like at a very, very early stage. If you really have something and you really have talent, those companies do watch you. So be very aware of the fact that, you have to put yourself out there and put your ideas out there a lot more if you really expect to get out there. It's just like a guy when he writes a song, he can't just hoard all these songs up and have a library of all these great songs and then expect to get signed. No, he has to put them out there. He has to get a following. Then he has to do a few performances here, and then maybe he'll get to do a performance at college, and then feature in a video. You have to do the same thing with your brand. Your brand is very important, and the frequency that your brand resonates on is very important. So keep that in mind. So those are the main things. Now, when you get yourself to a point where you have a brand, and I'm totally telling you guys this from experience. I've literally had 3 brands in major department stores and major places. I literally had 3 brands that literally were started from my computer in my home. So this is nothing I'm trying to sell you. You can actually do this, I'm telling you. And you guys have a lot better opportunities out there than I did because of the internet, which is what I want to get to next. The internet is has blown up tremendously since I first started. I know people say that all the time, but your ability to reach people is incredible. But what you also have the ability to do is find out where people are responding to you more than anything. Be very aware of that. When you post stuff about your brand and when you start looking at, the analytics of where it's coming from, because they have programs that you can actually buy for your social media sites that will help you track where the people are coming from and where the support is coming from. Let's say in the beginning we had a brand called Protege. In the beginning of Protege, we wanted the world to love the brand, but it was in Kmart only, and we had to kind of look at where things were going. So we noticed that like middle America was really gravitating more to it. And I say that, and that's important because once it started really steamrolling and we had commercials on like BET and things of that nature, we looked at the analytics, and that's where we drove our marketing dollars to. Because what we were able to do was build that base and that foundation of people that were accepting to our product. And from there, we were able to market there. So when we took the NBA and the NBA came out on the road with us, we made sure that we went to the major cities, but there would be, cities that they would go to. And I'd be like, I don't want to go there. Why are we going there? I mean, it's like, and they showed me the numbers and I was like, I'll be there before the trucks get there. So the reality is now with this new tool that you have, which is the internet, and I know they talk a lot about the algorithms of Facebook and Facebook sales and things of that nature. If you don't have a company, I'm kind of lazy at this point. So I kind of hire companies to track that for me. But if you don't have a company that handles that for you, look into that. And this goes back to that point. Be in the business of being in business before you get in business. Know the things that help structure your business, and know how to use the tools that are out there to help guide your business and control your business properly. It is very important, because believe me when I tell you, I could open up my DMs on my design page, my by Dallas Stokes on Instagram page, and there's 100 guys like back to back to back, like, yo man, I want to start a clothing line. I want you to design this for me, design that for me. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, let me see what you got. And then I go to their site, and some of them don't even have product. So I'm like, okay. Then I'll go to their site and I'll see something and I'll be like, there's no way in the world you're gonna get, Air trademarked. I believe me, a company tried to do that. They tried to take the Nike off of shoes and make them look like Nikes and write Air on it, in court easily. So I say all this to say to you, you really truly have to understand the pieces that become a part of building your brand and building your business and the internet. So when I say you should know what's going on with the internet, look into it. I mean, I tell people all the time, including my own kids, the best place to go to get answers, believe it or not, is Google. Go to Google search and break it down as simply as possible. Like you were asking me a question, like, where do I go to get a trademark lawyer in North Carolina? You put that in Google search and it will give you the answer. So use that tool. But like I say, know the analytics of what you're doing, know the back ends of what you're doing. Now, another thing you got to know is retail. Retail has dramatically changed within the last 10 years. I remember there was a time when if a store liked you and they liked your goods, they literally would call you up and say, look, I need 5,000 pieces of this. Can you get it done in 3 months? And we'd be like, yeah, okay, cool. Knock it out. It's good. But due to the fact that things are the way they are now, what happens is, even if they like your product, they won't put you in the stores. What they'll do is a lot of times they'll buy your product, they'll put it on their online store, and it is up to you to drive traffic to their online store to show that you can sell product. And then they may talk to you about bringing it into the store. So once again, this all goes back to, you need to know how to control the path of your product and the guides to your product. A lot of people now are building their online stores and selling more on their online store than they could actually sell if they were to get a deal. This is very, very important. And this comes to the next point that I have, the structure of how you set up your business and there's a lot of pieces in between this, but I don't know that we have the time. But the general things that I'm trying to outline to you is the things that I would look into, and I would see how they work. And then you can really start formulating how it applies to you. And any questions you guys may have, I'm more than willing to answer. But like I said, it is very important that you know how to use this internet thing and social media thing to help grow your business. Those are very important points. Now, the next important point, I think, and I'm skipping rather fast so we can have time for questions, but the next important thing is, I've found that in my career, it's much easier to get to retail than to stay in retail. There's all kind of factors that go along with that. Your relationship with the retailer is important. You have to treat the retailer like with the respect that you treat someone that you would like to do business with on a long-term thing. At times, it may seem like, they may be trying to take advantage of you, but you have to show them respectfully how that doesn't work for you. You can't I've seen guys ruin $70 million brands because a company wanted to do this and they were like, nah, I'm not doing that. That's why they was like, all right, so long, take it easy. So I see here, Julia, Julie's Miss Ruiz. I'm gonna get to that as well. But like I say, you have to realize that your relationship with retail is important. A lot of people say that, oh, brick and mortar is dying and you should just have your thing online. I mean, until brick and mortar is dead, you still have to do business with it. So I tell people all the time, pay attention to that. Like, pay attention to the retail relationship that you have, which leads me to my next point, which is very important. But I wanted you to get all the business aspects of it together first. It is extremely important that you have a relationship with your retailer and you understand what you are capable of doing and what you are not capable of doing. Because I've seen companies sell a bill of goods to retailers, and retailers, I'm gonna tell you like this: if you get to a point where you can get on their shelf, that means something else or another company that they know has been working or hasn't been working has to move over. They could easily replace that with a Nike, an Adidas, Louis Vuitton, anybody. They can replace you with anybody. They are giving you your shot. So until you get so big that you can call your shots, which, believe me, it comes to that point and it'll come quick. It comes within a 2-3 year period where you're just like, nah, that don't work for me. But at first you have to be humble. And the reason why I say you go from humble to that don't work for me, because that don't work for me means I can't fulfill that. I can't take my brand down that path. I remember I had a big blow up with Sears and Kmart. They're the same company. And we were just rolling along with this brand, And they came to me and they say, hey man, I need an Air Force One. I was like, well, go buy Air Force One. And they were like, no, you don't get it. I need an Air Force One from you guys to fight the Air Force One. And I'm like, no. And they were blown away. They literally blown away that I was just not down with it. And it got so bad that I left the brand for a year. I was just like, I'm still gonna get paid, so I'm cool. Y'all do what you want to do. That was the wrong attitude for me to take. What happened was, I said no multiple times. I get up one morning, and every morning I get up, the first thing I do in any business that I'm working with is I look and I see what the business looks like online. I see when we have release dates, I just see what's working, what's not working, what they've marked down. So I know that's not working. I can start focusing on getting rid of that out of my future inventory, things like this. And I get up and I click on, and I see this Air Force One knockoff shoe. I was irate. I mean, I was just through the roof. So I call my partner and I say, what is this? And he goes, yeah, man, well, you wouldn't do it. So I just had the factory do it, and we're going to sell it and see what happens. He didn't understand one of my favorite words, which is one of Prophet's favorite words as well, is integrity. Integrity, the integrity of your product to your retailer and your consumer means a lot. I mean, a lot. If we built that business within a 2-year period to like a $60 million a year annual period. That's with one retailer and like 5 guys were working on it. Built that business up from 60, then I think we got up to 70. The integrity came from the fact that I didn't knock off Nike shoes. I didn't knock off Adidas shoes. I drew the shoes that were real to what I thought our brand was. And what I thought our brand was basically the next And One or Adidas basketball or Nike basketball. Even though it was at Kmart, the plan was to stay there for a while, then move into Sears. And then after we move into Sears, kind of play with the name and then move into upper tier retail. And I've been part of two and only two brands that have ever done that, which was And One and believe it or not, Master P, P Miller, that were able to go from the basement up. That does not usually happen. So integrity means a lot with the product and how you have your relationship. There'll be times when you have to stand your ground for sake of losing a sale, but you have to keep your integrity in your product. And that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about next. If there weren't, is it okay to ask questions now, Taryn? There were any questions? I can't hear, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yes, you guys can, actually, if you have a question, I'm gonna let you guys unmute yourself and go ahead and ask a question.
I wanted to kind of address Ms. Ruiz real quick. She said, how do I sell t-shirts more effectively online? Is there any formula that you recommend or marketing sales you suggest? That's the first question I saw. I'm sorry, everybody. That is a very good question. Your online sales should be predicated on your margins. So the thing that you have to understand is tighten up your line. If you have like more than 4 or 5 different designs, or if you have like a lot of designs, tighten it up, because what happens is as opposed to buying so many shirts and putting multiple things on it and then being all over the place. I don't know if that's your situation. I'm just giving you an example. What ends up happening is the tighter your line is, the more you start figuring out what works and what's really moving. When you have too much, I had a meeting with two gentlemen about a week ago, and their website was just like huge. I mean, their website looked like they were a very established brand and had been out for years. And I told them, I said, you guys got great ideas here, here, and here. Focus on that and then pull it together and you'll get a better idea of who your consumer is. So one of the problems that you may be having is too much product. Apple once told Nike, get rid of the junk. They weren't talking about Nike product being junk. They were just saying Apple focuses on the things they do. Much to the point, they went out and got Beats and they pushed Beats for a few years. Now, when you look out, what is everybody doing? They have earbuds in their ear. So they took that and they piggybacked and they learned and they were able to they still do Beats, but you don't see Beats as prevalent as you do when you see the earbuds now. There's a reason for that. That is called knowing your consumer and staying true to your brand and the integrity of your brand. So as far as marketing sales that I suggest, if you see something's not moving, sell it, put it on sale, get it out of your inventory. I don't care if you paid, $3 per shirt and you have to mark it down to $10. Get it out of there. Whatever is dead weight, make a section for it, move it, because it makes it seem or feel like, it doesn't always mean that you're cheapening your brand. It just means that people can be more exposed to the stuff that to your brand and to a piece of your brand. But that's my thing. If it ain't moving, make it disappear or sell it. I hope that worked.
There was a question that someone asked me in my inbox, and I want to go back to this question. It was actually a really good question. They said that they have someone else that's designing their, hold on, let me just make sure I don't want to paraphrase anymore. I'm scrolling back to find it. Okay. Okay. I have someone drawing my patchwork for my clothing brand. Is it best when I pay her to document it and have her sign it for the future?
Yes. Always keep very thorough records of your business. And I tell you that because take it from a guy who knows. I didn't. I ended up getting in a lot of trouble with the IRS, ABC, CBD, everybody. I was all the alphabets. You can get in trouble. Keep very thorough notes and letters. And also, it helps you if anything comes up and you have to, heaven forbid, you have to go to court over the rights of. See, a lot of times what happens with designers is because we create it, we don't separate the business aspect of it. See, if you come to me and you pay me to draw something, you own that. You know what I mean? But some designers are very territorial and they don't understand that I just let this go. So they think I have ownership in it. And no, you don't. So definitely keep very thorough notes with anyone you have interactions of business with. I had an accountant that was robbing me backwards. I mean, ended up getting me in trouble with the IRS to the tune of about 700,000. But it was because I used to hang out and call her mama and we'd kick it and blah, blah, blah. I wasn't doing business. That goes back to what I said originally, which is very important. Before you get into the business, be in the business of being in business first. That is extremely important. I know there's music guys, my man Dollar, I love his music. Relentless was playing when it opened up. That's my guy. But, with Dollar understands the record business. We can have conversations about business and then I can listen to his music. Now, I may not understand all of his music, all of Kanye West's music, all of any rapper, Chance the Rapper, all these guys, but I understand one thing. Kanye West is a billionaire. That didn't happen because he didn't keep the right notes and he wasn't blessed. Chance the Rapper sold, I don't know if the number that he put out there was accurate, but he sold quite a few hats with that 3 on it and has made quite a bit of money for himself. We all grew up in the same neighborhoods in Chicago, so I've seen their growths as well. And getting back to it, everything is important. I don't care if it's how many shirts you bought from the printer, how many screens you set up in order to execute one shirt. make sure you keep thorough notes. And if you're not a thorough note kind of person, get a partner who is, because I've had partners who weren't, and it's cost me a lot of money.
Yeah, All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, let me turn it. Yeah, just to kind of like add to, you know, what you said. God bless you.
Sorry, I'm right under air conditioning, so I'm just
about like not taking care of business. So a lot of people don't know this. I can talk about it now. Relentless, which I came out with over a year ago, I didn't buy the rights to the song. Initially, the song was given to me. I didn't buy the rights. And so I get a message from YouTube telling me, hey, you cannot monetize off of this song because someone now owns the rights. So I didn't take care of business. So when he's talking about like take care of your business, take care of your business, because there's no way now like I can really capitalize off that song because now somebody owns the rights. So now moving forward, I own all the rights to my songs. All the masters belong to me and I have it documented. So that's super, super, super important because you will get played out of so much money by not taking care of business.
Yeah. Like I said, you could start this company and you didn't trademark that name and you rolling. Some people will sit back and let you accumulate a lot of money before they'll come and say, all right, I need all that money and damages. And you're sitting there like, word? like for real? Like, I ain't got it. Well, you got a real problem. So he's very right. You have to control that. Am I still any other?
Yeah, no.
What's the difference between the copyrights and the trademark?
Okay, that's a good question, Stephanie, and I don't want to answer it because even it gets blurry, so even I get confused on that. Trademarks usually generally deal with apparel and clothing and things of that nature. Copyrights, if I'm not mistaken, because I've never really had a copyright, usually deals with written things like books and things of that nature.
Right. Okay.
So I don't really deal in the copyright world, so I don't want to get too misinformed on that or misinform you in that manner.
Okay.
But no, Ms. McMillan, it truly is a different. Both are different aspects entirely. So.
Okay. All right. All right.
And I can say I figured out how to do my copyright. I had a friend that did mine for not copyright, excuse me, trademark. And what I did is I realized that like for clothing and apparel, there's different classifications, you guys. So I had to do classification 45, and also I believe it's 26. So one was like books, printing, material, marketing, those different things. I could have the copyright for that. And that was the one I wanted. But if I wanted to do like clothing, shoes, apparel, I also had to do it. Is it 26? Is it 26 or 45? I think it's one is one and the other one's the other. So right. You have to know what the copyright code is for apparel or for books. There's different copyright codes. So if you copyright one, you may have to copyright the other. But either way, I like the fact that like, even if I had a apparel brand and I put it in the neck, in the inside, like that name I can use other places, or you can tweak it a little bit. Like some people give up because their name is just totally taken. If add something else to the name, like, and exactly. You can go there and Dallas is gonna tell you where to go. So you guys can look and see if your name is taken already. It's like 5 seconds, you can see it. And if that name is taken, like something I wanted for women of noble character was something, I don't know, but they gave me WONC, which stood for women of noble character. And it still was the same thing. So you guys have to know how to just like, and then they'll send you these emails, you guys, you got to answer the emails back. Like you could totally do it too. But I'll let Dallas tell you, because he is a huge fan of legal, what is it, LegalZoom?
Yeah,
legal, what is it?
But that you're right. You brought up a great point, which I didn't tell you guys earlier. There is a site from the government. It's called uspto.gov. And here, I'll type it in the comments as well. uspto.gov. Now, hopefully everybody sees that. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go there first, and then you're going to want to put in the search engine TESS. Tess, I love her so dearly. She's not a person, but Tess is what you're going to have to put into the search. What happens is a little window is going to pop up. And in that little window, it's going to be like a little rectangular window that says basic word search. Start there. Put your brand name in that box first. So let me type that in. Basic. Bear with me, I'm not the quickest typer. The basic word search box is literally like right under the first paragraph of things. USPTO.gov is basically the trademark office for the government. So you can you can go in there, and that's a good start. Before you start spending money on legal things and everything, try and search that first and see if you can find anything through there. And what she means by classifications, if you go in there right now and you put my name in, my company, which I've since let it lapse, because I'm just not really into, at this moment in time, building my name. But it was called by Dallas Stokes. And, you know, you'll see I paid for everything. I mean, toothbrushes, lighters, underwear, athletic shoes, basketball shoes. It was, you name it. These are the different classifications that she was just talking about. Find out what you want to build your brand to be, and then you got to pay to get each one of those classifications taken care of. So say you want to start off selling beachwear, and you think you want to add beach balls and towels, you're going to have to make sure that your trademark covers all of that. And a lawyer will help you through it, or even LegalZoom will help you through it. They'll tell you before, but if you want to start looking and seeing, at least if your name is clear, USPTO.gov and TESS is inside of USPTO is where you start. Another thing, using your name. I have been egged on for years. Hey man, just put your name on it and create product and just put it out there. You know, I shy away from spotlight. I used to do a lot of articles and interviews and stuff, and I stopped. And I didn't like the attention that came with it, because I thought it was getting in the way of me just being the designer and getting my check. So I stopped doing it. But one of the things that I learned in talking to a few guys that had a brand named after them, is that it's better to do, like, for a while I was going to do, what was the name of the brand I was going to do? It was going to be called Stoic, and then by Dallas Stokes. Because what ends up happening is, if the brand is named after you, like Tommy Hilfiger, and you go out and Tommy Hilfiger gets into legal trouble, retailers are going to take your brand off the shelf immediately. So be very, very careful with naming your brand after yourself. The other problem is, I knew a guy that named the brand after himself. He literally helped get me into the business. And when he started bringing on investors and partners, they bought him out. So he literally could no longer use his own name as a brand. And yes, you can apply for trademarks online. But like I said before, it's better to do it with legal and professional help than to do it. But no, this guy can no longer use his name. That to me was crazy. That just blew me away. Like, most people think Louis Vuitton is owned by the Vuitton family or something like that. No, there's a bigger company like LGH or something. They own Rihanna's Fenty, all of these things. They own all these brands. These people don't even own their own names. Versace, the Versace family, I think has a great block of ownership in it. But if somebody's going to come along and give you millions of dollars and invest in you, they're going to want to own your name. And with your name comes your likeness. So be very careful with that. Oh man, this air conditioner is killing me. Oh.
You want me to talk for a second so you can turn it down? You want me to talk for a second? Okay, I'm going to talk for a second so you can go turn it down real quick. Okay, guys. Yeah. One thing I like too is, you guys, it seems like he's saying something that like it's difficult and hard, but it's really not so difficult and hard. Once again, ambition. Did God give you this idea? If God gave you this idea, if he brought you to it, he's going to bring you through it. He'll send the right person at the right place at the right time, and you will be able to advance, because every time I get in one step, he sent me someone else. Like when one design person left, he sent me another person. When I wanted to get my 501c3, I paid $900 to this person. They started, then they bounced and abandoned it. And I had to pay it again if I really knew that I was supposed to do this. So I paid it again. And thank God I still have my 501c3 because I was willing. Then I wanted to do the trademark, and I found someone who was diligent enough to stick there and figure it out. And we went through the trademark. A lot of stuff I did the hard way. I wish I would have done through LegalZoom, but I just figured it out and got those things. Then I had the skill to be able to help somebody else, which is why we're doing these workshops, so that you guys are so equipped and get the right information. But once again, if God gave you this, maybe it starts with the t-shirt. You get the t-shirt made, you like it, you wear it, people like it, see how many clicks you get or whatever. It's on one and you think, I better do something with this. Or you think you really have something down, do something with it and begin to move forward towards those things. And I don't want you guys to feel like you're discouraged because it seems like, oh, it seems like a lot of work. It seems like it's gonna be a lot of money. Look, if God's will, it's God's will. If it's God's will, it's God's will. God will sustain you. Go ahead.
No, God definitely, I agree. If it's God's will, it will happen and God will sustain you. But I will tell you, it is a lot of work. Like it is, as Taryn and others that know me, I mean, Prophetess and others that know me know, I put a lot of time and effort into it. Even when you work, I've worked at Adidas, I've worked at, the Pumas and the Reeboks and things of that nature. Owning your own, I mean, working for brands is a 9-to-5 thing. People think, no, there's times when we go in. I used to go into Adidas at 6 a.m, or wake up to be at Adidas by 6 a.m. and wouldn't leave until 9, 10 at night. That was an average day. And you have to keep your faith forward and your pen down and work very hard, because it's not gonna be, this is not something that, if you want to get into, you, like she said, you have to know the right people. You have to bring the right people in your circle. That was the next point that I wanted to get into. The people you work with is very important. I have had some very amazing partners, and at the same time, I've had some very terrible people who were partners. It is very important, which I'm going through that situation right now with the partner I have, in which I'm showing and working with him to see that the structure of our business and how it's set up is important. So you're not just designing, or you're not, like some people think that it's this fun, flashy life. It can be. There are many days when you will just enjoy the benefits of being in this life. So it can be very rewarding and very cool. Like I never would have met the Kobe's, the Shaqs, the Michael Jordans. I've worked and met with so many athletes and people that are just amazing, but it is very hard work. So it's something that you have to put your time and heart into as well. I literally get up and it's gotten to the point where my whole rig, as we call it, our setup is, I have a TV right here. I mean, I have a computer right here. I have a TV right here, so I can watch what's going on in the world and watch whatever, if I want to watch, I don't know, cartoons. And then on this side here, I'll have just a whole computer so that I can continuously watch the what's going on in the world, which is so important. Culture is the most important asset that you have in building your brand. Okay, put it like this. I've turned down certain jobs because they didn't make sense. Like a yachting company came to me and wanted me to help them make performance boating and yachting shoes. And I was like, dude, I've been on a couple of boats, but I never did all the stuff and the sales. And then I was like, I turned it down because I don't know anything about that culture. Now, I could have dived into it, but I was, I had my own company and we were doing well and things of that nature. It's funny because I see companies all the time. Like when I go and talk to companies, or if I would go interview with companies, or if even when I worked with a company, I just finished working not too long ago with a major company that it blew my mind that no one cared or knew anything about the culture of what we were working on. I'm like, do you play basketball? No. Do you listen to hip hop? No. Do then how are we like where are we? Please, people, the success of your brand, it really does rely on the authenticity until you get to the point where you can just fake it. It really does matter. If you're getting into something you don't know about, fellas, if you're on here and you're getting into, the extension business, but you're doing it just because the girl is cute and you think, oh, this will be great money because I see girls always wearing extensions. That's not how this game works at all. Ladies, if you're getting into a clothing company and you never played football and you're getting into a clothing company with a performance football player and you don't watch football, don't do that. I mean, don't. I can't stress that enough. The culture of your brand depends on your connection to the culture. Totally. So if it's something you don't know, immerse yourself in it, let it become your culture. If it's a music venture, if it's a clothing venture, if it's the type of clothes you don't wear, make sure you know everything about that then, because that ruins your business. I've seen the companies are so funny because, and I'll take their money. It's funny to me because I sit there and I watch them and I'll be like, well, this is gonna be easy, because you guys don't know what you're doing. So I can collect a check for you guys for at least 3 years because it's like this is a sweet spot, so to speak. I come in there and there's guys running around and they want to have a basketball brand, but they're trying to make fashion footwear, like big chunky fashion footwear for a basketball brand. I'm like, but you got 6 other brands you own that you could do that in, but you're trying to do it with this brand. Why? Yeah, all right, fine. I'll take the check. Then I got to a point where I was just like, I can't take that check anymore because it's taking too much out of me and taking too much of my time to correct you. There was a time when I was working with quite a few brands out of New York, but I'm living in California, and there was times when I literally would get up at like 3 in the morning to catch a 4 a.m. red eye into New York to get there by 9 a.m. to work with them until 6, to get on a plane at 8, to be back in California by 12. I lost half a day on planes and half a day arguing over something that was so foolish it didn't make sense, and I couldn't do it. I'm just too old now. I can't, and I don't like going to New York that much because the time on that flight just tears you apart back and forth. So that's actually part of the reason why I had to stop doing that. That's like really important. So
Hey, so Dallas, I had a quick question.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it take, but trademark and patent, do I need both of them or do I just need one?
Okay. No, you have to have both. The trademark is the brand. You know what I mean? The patent is how the product is done or works or whatever. So for instance, there is a patent on Nike Zoom airbags. You know what I mean? But that patent just covers how the airbag works and how it's received to the customer. The trademark is the swoosh on the side of the shoe or the Nike Air on the heel and the tongue. So that's very important as well. If you've created a basketball jersey or a bra or a sports bra or a knee brace or something, and it works differently from everything that's out there, you're gonna have to get a patent on that. And the thing about patents is they do run out though. You can refile, but there comes a point when it's like, that's why for years you only saw airbags on Nikes, and then all of a sudden people were going into like Payless or Kmart and they were seeing airbags on shoes, and it was like, how could Nike let this happen? Their patent, the time to hold that patent is gone. That's why now they said, oh, well, airbags are cool. We got that stuff on the low end, but if you really want the best airbag, it's got a Zoom bag in it now. So now it works better. It helps the encapsulated air disperse a lot better than just an airbag, but they have the patent on that. So you can't do that. Boost is a great example of trade patent issues. Most people don't know Boost is not owned by Adidas. Boost is owned by a company called BASF. BASF makes, stuff for like NASA. So they came to Adidas and they said, hey, we got this compound. We need you guys to like try it. And they were like, oh, okay, well, cool. Yeah, we like this. So we're going to do what's called licensing out our patent. So Boost does not belong to Adidas. They're licensing that technology out. And that's beautiful that you brought that up, because most people think that getting in the clothing game is just about creating clothing. You may have an idea for, I had a friend, she had an idea for sports bras and she got a patent, and then she was out trying to sell that particular way of doing it to major companies. So that's very good question indeed. If you have a business and would like the apparel to be an extension of that company, what would be the next steps? Same thing we've been talking about, just trademark the name. You have the business already, it's your business. And if you would like to add clothing to it, get your legal paperwork in line, figure out what it is you want to do, and go trademark the categories that apply to it.
Dallas, what's going on, man? It's Frankie.
My man, Frank. Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too, brother. How you doing? Listen, what is the best way to market yourself as an independent designer?
Yeah. Wow. Really, Frank? You just go.
I mean, we could politic about this later on.
It's a great question. I'm just messing with you. People don't know I've known Frank forever, but we only through social media thing and talking on the phone a couple of times. Very good question. The first thing you got to do is you got to pay your dues. I would suggest that you work and you get a working history, like at multiple companies, and you build up your portfolio and you build up your experience, and then you try and market it. Believe it or not, there's tons of designers that are out there right now that are being paid by companies in order to design for them, much like I do. But the way that they got it and the way that they got the money they deserved was by having the credentials to back it up. So for me, I'm able to go to a company and say, I want this much. And they say, you're crazy. We don't pay people that much. And I'm like, well, this is what I get paid. So, and this is what I've done. I've done shoes for NBA champions and WNBA champions and NFL champions. That experience is not, you can't discount that. Sometimes I'll break a little bit on the price. But that's the best way to do it, man. Just to come out the gate and just go knock on Nike's door and say, hey, man, I want to be a designer. That goes back to what I said about Jerry Lorenzo and Jerry Manuel and his career. Fear of God didn't just knock on his door. He started doing that. Fear of God. Well, first he had Android Home with his boy. Then a lot of people don't know he was a huge club promoter in LA. So he built a following through that. He was able to do Fear of God. And then with Vans, once he built his following through the nightclubs and everything, and people knew he was this big promoter in town, he had a following. He created a culture that Vans was like, yo, we want Vans to be a part of that culture. We're not really a part of that. And he was able to go in and do a deal with Vans. And now he's done it with Nikes, but he paid his dues. You got to give him his respect. So I guess that's the best way to answer that. I'm sorry.
Cool. Thanks, P.
All right. Let me see. If you have a business and I think did I miss anything? Oh, how do you get raised capital?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Wow. I just say that because I'm presently in that process now of doing that. That is a very good question. Sorry. Believe me, I'm healthy.
Bless you.
Thank you.
He already got tested for corona, so he's good. Twice he tested. He's good. I was in the car. I saw the result.
You know, it ooh.
He posted it. She said he posted it. He did.
It ain't easy. A lot of times you can find people that you may know that invest in you. And I always say the worst thing to do is go into business with your own money. That is a very, very bad idea. If you can find investors, try very hard to. One way you maybe, if your credit is good and you're looking right, you know, walk down to the bank, get yourself a business loan. Yo, that's dope. Don't borrow money from Freddie the drug dealer, because just like the song say, they want it back. They want it back with interest. You know, there's different grants out there that you can apply for that may be able to help you. But that is a huge, huge problem that to this day, I'm presently working to throw an event, and we are talking with Shoe Palace, Hyundai. We're talking to Hyundai on Tuesday, and you know, just getting them to give us any kind of money. It's called Fall Ball. It's a basketball tournament / concert that we may be able to do in October. Hopefully, you know, God willing, that all this is cleared up. Yeah, it's oof. Maybe you can help me with that one, Taryn. I'm proper this. I'm like,
No, I'm all in. You know, I was listening to you with your conversation with your partner that day. I was like, well, it seems kind of, you could do this and do that. So whatever you need to do for that, you know, I'll offer any help that I can offer. I'm here. Me and my team too. You have an awesome team.
yeah, it's hard out there. Like my first piece of investment came from a incredible, just wonderful person out of Ohio. And that was a private investor. And they ended up taking kind of a loss because we were supposed to have the event in February. And due to the coronavirus situation, I mean, not February, like March or April or something, but due to coronavirus, now their money is deferred, and it's going to have to be paid 10 times over, you know, later on down the line, perhaps. We don't really know. So that one I'm kind of weak on as well. So I don't know. I'm sorry. Yeah, no drug dealers. No. Don't do it.
Amen to that. Trust in God.
Yeah.
It says what somebody asked, what website do you find the appropriate copyright codes? I think it's on the uspto.gov. I've had that on lockdown for so many years on my computer. So you guys can do that as well. And it'll help you. But, you know, can you talk to them a little bit about design, getting designs made, pulling their, wait, really quickly, you guys, what do you guys have out there? What are you guys working on? Let's hear what you're working on. I mean, is it aprons? Is it hats? Is it shirts? Tell us real quickly, either in the inbox or you can come off and tell us exactly what you have. Just say what it is. Don't make it long. Just
I want to be your business partner for the next few minutes here. Let's see what we got.
Come on.
All right, I'm up. All right, Dallas, how you doing?
Daniel, how you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm good. Well, I got this idea and I've been kind of like building on it. I touched around with it a little bit, just marketing, because I do music. So I wanted to get into clothing. So I had a name of it. It was called No Empty Pockets. And it was a subset of something else I was doing called Aeon, which was basically all or nothing. So those things, I was just focusing in on sweaters and shirts. I wasn't really focused on all the apparel, like pants, socks, and all that. I was just doing clothes. Sweaters and t-shirts. So what can I do to like kind of like build that idea up?
All right, partner. I've been sitting around and we've been thinking about this and we've been formulating it. And I think we have to come at this different. So if we got no empty pockets, we're not going to buy just t-shirts. We're going to buy the t-shirts with the pocket on it so that we can logo No Empty Pockets closer to the pocket there. And our logoing, instead of us having the regular logoing systems, like on this guy here, I want us to put the logo down the side by the pocket instead of putting it up on the chest area, just to give us a point of difference. Our logo and branding is really important. So let's look at putting a dollar sign on that S, no empty pockets. Maybe use a money font. That might be a little too clear, but maybe we could, like, you know, I don't know, find a distressed money look. And then, you know, even though it's so literal, and I'm just shooting off the top of the head, these are like creative meetings that we're having or whatever. Let's see if we can't do something with George Washington or you know, one of the big dollar guys on money. Like maybe we can work that out. But we definitely, no empty pockets. We don't want it to seem like the negative connotation of no empty pockets, from a standpoint of, you know, like we got the word empty pockets in there. So that lingers. It's such a long name that lingers at the end. So, you know, people are going to try and break it down and give it like that shortened version. Like, yo, you got that new empty pockets? Like we gotta watch that. So
Right.
yeah, let's keep it upscale. And now we got our website, man. You know, not too many people are gonna want to sit there and type no empty pockets. A lot of people, you'd be surprised. That's a lot. So maybe we shorten the website down to NOEP, and we put that branding somewhere on the clothing, like maybe the neckline, the shoulder line. Because if an athlete gets it, most athletes get shot from here on up, which is why Nike always has the logos higher, like on the chest right here. So let's just go with NOEP for now, and use that as our sub branding and our website branding as well, so that a person who can't find no empty pockets, or they may leave out the S at the end and can't find it, they'll be able to find NOEP.com easier.
Prophesy. You own, man. You own. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, man. Thank you.
That was so dope. I'm like, I just watched everybody get so excited, and I just love, because they never seen it happen like that. How many of you guys are just intrigued right now? Just wave your hands at him. Just like wave your hands. Let me see your hands. Because I was seeing you guys, like I was super fresh. Like that's how the meetings go. And so right now he's gonna help you by you guys being able to say your brand, put it out here. So let's go ahead and get the next person. He's gonna do the next person. Let me see.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay. Miss Ruiz.
Yes. Hi.
Hello.
So
So
I have this idea. My mom and I want to patent this. It's actually a product that the Lord gave us that no other artist in the world has. So we actually put this product. This is a hat, and it has our art on it.
Okay.
I don't know if you could see that.
Yeah, I see it now. Okay.
And so we put this on our hats. We put this on our art. We're thinking about putting it on T-shirts, but I have to get a patenting for this.
Oh, so the actual piece itself is separate from the hat. It connects the hat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is on our art piece too. So you see how it has like different designs.
Got you.
It's actually very moldable. So we see it also being like a form of like Play-Doh in a way, where kids can like be creative and use it. It's like a
I would honestly I would stop discussing this right now.
Okay.
I would tell you guys, go get that patent.
Okay.
Interactive products are just the next level. Like everyone wants to get into it.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I'm just saying this to everybody. I'm not saying anybody will steal your idea or anything, but some ideas are very good, to the point where the first thing you got to do is cover that base. So yes, you need to get that patent taken care of, because anything interactive with art and children, you are going to get like so many, like, you know, just orders and support from that. Because if a kid can sit in the back of a car for 45 minutes playing with their hat, not their cell phone, and being creative, that's going to be the drive of your campaign. That is going to be what brings you and here's another thing. Everybody tends to think, oh, I'm going to make this product and I'm going to sell it to like the big guys like Macy's or whoever. No, a product like that You take it to a Walmart or a Kmart, they are giving you millions of units.
Yeah.
I mean, you are rich overnight. So yes,
We receive.
I receive.
yes, I'm telling you, trademark. Get with a lawyer, don't and get that trade. It may set you back a little bit of coin, but believe me, the it's gonna be like, I don't know if you remember Scrooge McDuck when he just dives into. I don't know how he did that. I'd have put my hand down in money, but that is beautiful.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Don't worry
Look,
about
Dallas, look, they're painters too. And I got this from them. You got and it's angels.
Wow. That's on glass?
It's on tile. They did it on tile.
Oh, that's
and so it's got angels' wings and dust, gold dust all over it.
Yeah.
And I ordered like 3. And I was like, oh my goodness. They listen to worship songs and they paint. And the angels are giving them ideas. And I was like, yo, so I showed it to somebody yesterday. They were like, I need their website. Do they do big ones? I was like, yeah. And so I love it because I mean, it's so original, and then it's all glossy, but they did it on tile on this one. So then I was like, I said, I'm gonna have to get one for them to do one in my living room big, because they do it. It's so anointed the way they do it. And so what I was gonna say that Dallas was talking about, when you go to show anybody, make them sign a non-disclosure agreement.
Okay.
And you can print those online. Anybody on this line, you show it to somebody, because I have friends who looked up and Fast and the Furious was stolen from them because they showed it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Wow.
Coming to America was stolen from somebody. I mean, there's a lot of thievery goes on in the music industry and arts, and you will look up in shoes. And then people like, the names that won't be mentioned, there's Nazis in like shoe industries. They will wear you out in court because they know that you don't have the means, and they have in-house lawyers. So you guys want to hold on and protect your stuff as best as possible. So, I love all the, I just adore my art, and I show it to everybody, and it makes a simple piece in my house. So I was like, I have to get more. So you guys will be having me get more. Customer for life.
NDAs, which you said, non-disclosure agreements, they are incredible, and they protect you, but they protect you only so far. I worked for a company called Skechers for 8 years once, and it's actually funny to me that what she just said was a practice that they had. They would literally keep you hung up in court. They would prefer to keep you hung up in court than because they know you can't fight them. You know what I mean? So like, you have a product that's not just good for hats, it's good for footwear, it's good for just a children's work board. Schools can get into this. You'll get government orders, so sit with a lawyer. It is very important that you get your business straightened out first. Sit with that lawyer, because like I said, you can put that on a stick or a pen or something, you know what I mean, and have kids go at it. And you're looking at government contracts, you're looking at Walmart contracts, and that's what I was trying to go to. Don't always try and build your product just for upstairs. And One was a company I loved, and they helped start my career. And we started off in Foot Locker and Champs and Finish Line and all these companies. Right now, And One makes more money selling at Walmart. It's almost $1 billion business. That's why they don't care if they get upstairs. They could hire me for 4 or 5 years to try to get them upstairs. They didn't really care, because at the end of the day, Walmart pays very nicely. So yeah, speak with a lawyer.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, real quickly here. I think, did you have something to say? And I'm gonna send it to you. We got one more person over here that wants to speak. We're gonna send it to Rome next, and then if you have your name, you need me to call on you next. Either put your thing up or send a message to the side, and I'll go through the messages for sure. Message to the side is best because I can't see everybody's hand. So send me a message, and I'll call on you guys as we're in order. So I'll come to Rome next. So go ahead.
I just kind of wanted to say this real quick. Like, I'm literally rethinking everything. Like, I'm going back to the drawing board, just like sitting and listening to you talk. And one thing that I definitely need assistance with, like I can have, like, I'm a linguist, so I love words. Words are important to me. And I know that, for me, if you've seen some of my shirts, Dallas, how, something will have like overcomer or hope deal or whatever. Like, so we can engage or invite in conversation.
But I definitely, I can't say definitely for some reason. I need help with changing the name. I want to really simplify it because I love simplicity and I love talking to people. So Dallas, I'm gonna call you. That's all I want to say.
You got a number, bro?
Awesome. Yep. Okay, let me go over to Rome real quick.
Okay, business partner.
So
I have a brand. My name brand is RAC, Royal Athletic Crown, and it's going towards all athletes. I want to go after kids. I want to go after high schools, colleges, and any major athletes or anything that's going out for like weightlifting, calisthenics, anything. Because there's the health rate of everything is going up. So I've noticed that everybody's trying to get on the board of working out now. So that's where my aim is.
First thing we got to look at is the name RAC. We might have to add a K, for Kingdom or something, because Nordstrom's Rack definitely has a trademark on RAC. So that may be an issue. So Crown Kingdom or something, we got to work on that. And then secondly, what are we thinking about logo wise?
Logo wise, a crown with the like title in the middle. So it's basically a title and a crown on top of a crown. So it's the crown of all crowns, the title of all titles.
Okay. The Basquiat people may come after you for the crown issue. I know somebody else is using the crown and they're having a legal entanglement. So depending on if that's an abstract crown or just a direct crown, we got to figure that out.
So with the logo, I also have a fist raising the hand, like you know how the Black Power did.
The logo
so it's a fist. So it's a fist with me holding the crown. So I'm like, say they have the Black Power, so it's like that.
Okay.
So fist, I'm holding it up, raising it up with just one fist.
Okay.
So like I'm holding a title plus a crown. So the title is basically the crown, the head of the crown or the rim of the crown, and then you have the crown on top of a crown. So big crown to a little crown.
Okay, too many crowns. Let's do this. Let's make it so that the 4 fingers at the top form the top of the crown, and then we get some fist action under this logo from the wrist up. We got to simplify this logo. That's one of the things. And I love the fact that the crown, the fist, it can all be one if we draw it right. If we like let me see here. I don't see any paper.
Like I have let me see if I can pull it up because I drew it.
While he hold on real quick. You want me for 2 seconds while you're finding it?
Turn it down.
You gotta mute you. Okay, so I'll say this too while he's looking for that, you guys. Some of you guys may be thinking like, I'm not gonna make anything while I'm in the trademark process because maybe it won't. You have to. You know why you have to? Because the trademark will ask you to show usages where you've used it. And you have to send something back showing something you've used, whether it be a magazine, whether it be a t-shirt, whether they want to see what it looks like. So you can send your logo, but they want to see exactly what it looks like. So some of you are thinking, I'm just going to wait until that whole process. That process for me sometimes took us 9 months or depending, it probably could have been easier if it was done by somebody else, but you have to show that you used it in something. So don't just have the idea in your brain and go to trademark, like make something with it, like make something.
Well, yeah, a lot of times you have to have a logo when you apply. So look, let me think. So this is kind of what I was saying, right? So we got the crown being formed by the top of the fist, and then you can get some 7 action in there. Everybody knows I'm a 7 guy all day and what that means. But you got the fist action going. So, maybe we can go somewhere like that. You have to be real careful with crowns. That's all. We know there's a lot of trademark issues with crowns.
Right. I knew it had to be simplified because I went deep into it and then I had to stop where I was going. I was like, me and my brother-in-law were talking about it. He's like, that's too much. And I'm like, you're right. I didn't think about it because it has to be simplified. So this is basically what it is. So I had it and I started writing it and I had to stop. So,
okay.
Again, like I said, it's a big crown with a little crown on top. Not like, you know how they have a cross or something on top? That's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
nothing like super huge.
The English crown.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. All you guys, when you talk about logos, and I'm sorry I didn't touch on this earlier. Whenever you draw your logo, put it on one side of the room and walk to the back of that same room. And if you can't make out what it is from across the room, nor can somebody driving down the freeway that sees it, or somebody that's looking on a little phone and sees it in the corner as an advertisement, be very careful not to make very intricate logos, because another reason why you don't want to do that, it's a two-sided coin, actually. I have my logo on my neck. I don't know if it'll show through, but this was the logo for my first brand. Or is it this? No, that's my grandma's side. It is very important that your logo be able to be knocked off. And I know that sounds crazy. And listen, here's the thing about getting knocked off, because I've had my product knocked off before. Ain't much you can do about it outside of this country. And in this country, it's a very hard thing to control as well. All you got to look at it as free advertising. You know, people aspire to get to your product. That's why we have fake Gucci bags, fake Jordans. You can fight it and go after it. It's going to cost you a lot of money, but it's free advertising. That's why Michael's ain't going nowhere. You know, make your logo as simplistic and as able to be read and embodied as possible. Make it so that when kids, I know this sounds bad, but they want to graffiti something with your logo, it's easy for them to do, because what happens, man, that sounds so bad, I know. But what happens is it gets embedded in the culture and it gets embedded in people's minds. Intricate logos will kill your brand. Not to mention when you go to production. You go to production and you have an intricate logo and it's got all these dots and lines and shading, and it's gonna look like crap when they try and put it on garments sometimes. You know, everybody just thinks of a t-shirt. It's not just a t-shirt. Like this logo on my jacket by Union, this is their logo that they use all the time. We can't really see it, but when you drive down Sunset Boulevard and you see their store, you know Union is right over there. It's on that corner. I see it right there. It's right there, that one. You know, when you see graffiti artists tag it on walls, you know, and I'm not saying tag stuff on walls, but you know where I'm going with this. You know, they do it because it's very easy. You get an entry, Louis Vuitton's logo is an X and an L. You know how easy it is for us to sit here, every person on this conversation, for us to just write that Louis Vuitton logo or that Gucci logo, which is the Chanel logo, which is the 2 C's going backwards. There's a reason for that. And they pay millions and millions of dollars for people to come in and tell them that. I'm telling you guys now, don't get too intricate.
Right. So you're basically saying I need a stencil form, basically, so I can just make it.
If you can get it on the stencil, that's great, man. We go get that thing stenciled all over town, on the walls, on
Man, you thinking tag right now. We can tag the world with the logo.
No, but like I said, man, try and get it with some meaning. You got the fist action going. You know what I'm saying? You can drop the 7 in there, the crown. You know, it's like, let's simplify that, man. Let's get it. Let's get it in more people's heads and thoughts.
Right. Okay.
You know, think of all the logos that are hot right now. Puma. It's an outline of a puma. You know what I mean? It's like Nike. It's the swoosh. You know, these are things that stick in people's heads. Now think of logos that were difficult that are out there right now. You really can't. Outside of alcohol, maybe, you know, Moet's logo, but now Moet they've been pulling out just the font. They don't do the whole crown anymore. It's very important. Branding is very important. So let's just keep that in mind with that logo. But I like the rack. I do like the rack because I like the acronym.
See, when that's another thing, because I did look it up, like you said, on USPTO, and then I know I said with Rack Nordstrom, they had RACK, so there was an extra extending K to it. So I was like, maybe I might have a chance. So because it's just RAC and it stops there, you know, it's not.
I'm thinking of RAQ. I think that's Reebok's.
Yeah,
Reebok's or something. But you'll know because when you go in there,
it didn't have it. So I went under there. It had RAC, but then it had some other stuff with it. So nobody had just rap.
Okay.
So trust me, I already went out. Yeah, I already did some research like he told me before. So I've been on.
Okay. And we got something here. We just gotta simplify that logo and we out the door.
Right. I'm ready.
That's it. Yeah. But sad. Anybody else? Let's see. Isn't our job to police our trademark too? Yes. Yes, it is. It is very much. Like I said, I've had brands that I've either created or worked with, and yeah, I had to police that. It is our job as well, because the trademark office is not just like a bunch. It's like thousands of people sitting around just looking every day. They rely on you just like the police rely on you to snitch. They rely on you to snitch as well because you know they're handling so many cases, and a lot of times you don't even deal with them. You have to have your lawyer go after someone. When I had Black Sheep, I had the guy that actually was in the Black Sheep group. It was a rap group, and he tried to come after me, and I was like, "Word, son, like that's wow. I really enjoyed listening to your music. Not anymore, but okay." You know, so and he was trying to say that he used the Black Sheep thing when he did tour shirts and things of that nature. So it was infringing upon his right to do that. We fought it. We legally had to look it up, and I felt bad because I love the music and I love you know, the group and everything. But at the end of the day, it was nothing I could do. It was like I had to stay in business. I'm already supplying to multiple retail chains. I can't pull my whole thing, and he didn't have his self protected. So that's kind of business. But yeah.
So Dallas, was that so was that Andres or was that Mr. Long? Which one did you know?
Drez.
I know Drez too. Like every time we talk, we find somebody else that we know. It's crazy, right?
Drez came.
Yeah, Andres Titus.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's crazy. Like that's funny. We were meant to be friends forever. That's so funny. Yeah. So Black Sheep, definitely. So that could be a friend. You're like, do I want to stay in business or am I gonna help my friend? Sometimes it happens like that. You gotta make integrous decisions as best as you can. It wasn't like it was on purpose.
No, it definitely wasn't on purpose. Like I say, when I was a kid, I listened to him and I loved his music, but the whole Black Sheep came from the fact that I literally was a black sheep of my family. So when I designed it, I wanted to give that to the people, the kids that were considered black. That's why I went into skate. It was a skateboard company. I had the first black skateboard team was Stevie Williams and Kareem Campbell, and then they helped me build my brand, my skate brand, my skaters. So no, I wasn't intentional, but it was.
That's amazing. I'm speaking of skates and brands. I just saw Kyle Frazier just jump on, and he has his brand Steez. I watched him put out there. I don't know if he's still doing that, but hey, Kyle, you see him? I just seen him come on. So I just admitted him. I don't know where he's at, but he has an awesome brand, and he is a designer as well. Very talented. So there he is. Say something. Let me pull you off mute. Hi, yeah. Kyle.
Hey, how y'all doing? How's everybody doing? What's up, T? I haven't seen you in a minute. How are you?
What's up,
I know.
Beautiful, beautiful. Still looking amazing. That's what's up. What's up, D?
What's up, man? Talking about that Steve's life, man.
Man.
That sneaker-esque.
Yeah. We're about to hit him with a new one right quick.
Yeah, I don't know if you know about this one.
Yeah, it's coming. I'll let Dallas do his thing, though.
Are you still doing Steve's, Kyle?
Yeah, well, we got a new thing coming. It's called Sneaker-esque. So I'll let kind of Dallas talk a little bit about it. But definitely got some heat coming.
I just help you. I help you.
Hey, I'm kind of multitasking right now. We got the the Bulls thing on and then this on. So This is perfect. I love it.
That's okay. We love to have you. You guys, it's funny because Kyle used to, we used to have photo shoots in my house, in my big loft that we had, the 6,000 square feet loft. So I used to love watching him put his lookbook together, and he'd be sitting at the computer creating. And this will happen when you get around creative people. Guess what happens to all of you guys? You guys become creative. So all you have to do is hang out with people that have that same anointing, and that anointing like jumps on you. So they attract one another. So you see, he attracted Kyle, and there's others on the line, and creative people attract creative people, and you find out how to make it better. We all need each other. So I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and talk.
Yeah,
That's
Kyle,
so awesome.
Yeah, Kyle and I, what do we work together? Adidas, like, oh, don't put a timestamp on it, but
I'm not gonna say nothing. All I can say is that Jordan was definitely doing their thing, and Adidas was doing their thing. So yeah, it was dope.
Those were good years for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Kobe, little young Kobe in the mix.
Yeah, that's when we got Kobe. That was a good time because he was fresh out of high school in the draft. And me and Kyle were pretty much fresh out of high school too.
Man, yeah.
And Kyle's from Oregon, you guys. Kyle's from Oregon, so we've all cross-pollinated because he's from Oregon, I'm from Oregon, and then oh my goodness, what's his name that we were talking about? I went to middle school with at Dada, the developer. Oh my goodness.
Starts with a D.
Oh my goodness, help us. However, we all come full circle. We've all come full circle. This is crazy. There's a lot of people on from Oregon, Kyle.
Oh, so a lot of people on here from Oregon?
Yes.
That's dope. That's dope. So me and Dallas are originally from Chicago. I lived in Oregon. I'll just tell you my backstory real fast. So I moved to Oregon. And then I ended up getting in a program at Adidas, and that's where me and Dallas met up. And so Dallas actually was part of teaching a lot of the classes, you know, in terms of like learning how to do industrial design, learning, you know, the ropes in terms of like footwear design and working for a brand. And so I was able to intern at Adidas and learn more about, you know, the business of making footwear. And then that's kind of how I got started. So it's been full circle. And, you know, me and Taryn, we know people, you know, from just being in Portland. And, you know, you went to Benson and was doing your thing. You have a tremendous family background. It's like, you know, tremendous athletes, just all throughout. So, you know, yeah, we can go back and forth. It's just been crazy.
It's so crazy. And so Nike, you guys, is in Portland, Oregon. And so I started modeling for Nike at 7 years old, just being at the right place at the right time. I released all of that to you guys too who want to receive that. You're at the right place at the right time. And what's so crazy is my brothers were all athletes too. They just happened to be like 15 years younger than me. So I was done in the state. I was gone. And they become very amazing with athletics. And all of a sudden, my youngest brother, he would be LeBron James's body. They would just use his head, you guys, at times on some of the. So he would get the modeling. They would put you out. They would always have a double, you know. So he would be his double. And I thought, wow, this is amazing, you know, how things come full circle around. But yeah, so Adidas is now the whole building. It was actually the building it is now. I was born in that hospital when it was a hospital. Is that crazy or what? Yeah,
so super crazy.
I'll tell you a funny Adidas story. You guys will never guess who did Kobe Bryant's first Adidas commercial. Who was the voice for his first Adidas commercial? I was sitting at my desk. I'm sitting at my desk, and my boss comes over and he says, "Hey man, we need you to go over to this place, and we need you to put some vocals down." And I was like, so I go over there and I'm reading from this script for his first internal Adidas commercial and everything. And the guy goes, "Yeah, it sounds cool, but can you put some more Philly in it? You know, can you sound more like Philly?" I have no Philly accent whatsoever. I butchered it terribly, and I don't think it ever seen the light of day. But yeah, I cut a commercial for Adidas before Kobe did, for Kobe.
Hey, all I know is like Joan, that's about it. Everything is Joan.
So Kyle, I'm looking forward to seeing what you're putting out, Kyle. It's very exciting. You know, and someone just asked too, if Dallas, if you have if they can book one-on-ones with you. And I'm like, yes, you guys, on our website, we already put it on there. He has his site too, but it was just easier for you guys to go to lifelinetnt.org. Click there on Dallas, book a one-on-one with Dallas, and you guys can book a one-on-one for these reasons. Like, you get these guys in a room, and I want you to know this is where the magic happens and when you're writing. And I was looking at all the creative people here in the house at the table right now with their computers open. This is where the millionaire starts. It doesn't start when it's made, it starts in your mind. It starts with the idea. It starts with the name. It starts with the production. So you have these meetings, you're brought here for a purpose so that you can now begin to rethink or think about what you're doing, put it out on paper and execute and work, labor at it. And as you go forward, that's when like God sends you guys help. You don't just like, you have to move forward. And some of you want to have everything done, then you want to move forward. That's just not how it works. You get a little piece of the puzzle. Then the next piece comes. Then you meet somebody else. Then you meet another creative person. And then you're at this workshop. And then you went over to, you went to Vegas for their, for their, one of their shows or whatever. And you meet somebody else there. Put yourself in the environment to grow. Networking. Yes, network. Network, for sure.
Like you said, without her network, I wouldn't be here. And even my website has been done for 4 days. It has, book, it's DallasStokes.com. It's been done for like the past couple of days, and it has booking information for me. But I lose money every day it's not up, because I would much rather it be right than it just be up. So yeah, you can make appointments with her, and hopefully next week we'll have my site up and you can reach me more direct. But I talk to her every day, so it's very important to network. And networking with the right people as well. That builds your career. I'm so shocked I forgot to tell you guys that networking is everything. I didn't get into the business because I went to school and I did this, I did that. I got into the business because I literally called people at Nike every day.
Yes.
Relationships I call and Nike. And the funny thing was I worked at Nike and couldn't build the relationships that I was building at Reebok. And Reebok got so sick of me calling that they were like, look, we got this dude, Shaquille O'Neal, we're signing him. And like, if you want to work with them, just stop calling us. They work out of Denver, call them. So I started calling them every day out in Denver. They were a firm that handled all of Reebok Shaq stuff. And the owner's wife said, if you don't hire him, I'm going to kill him, because he calls here and he wakes us up. I didn't know about time zone differences and things. He wakes us up. He's a pain. Hire him. That's how I got the Reebok gig by networking.
That is so awesome. I love hearing this, because you guys literally, my ex-husband, my kid's dad, when they were starting their company, she's a really good friend of mine, but Lavetta Willis, she would go down to Foot Locker all the time, you guys, and just stay there waiting for him to walk out. Wait for him to walk out. They will walk by her. And then finally, so you guys gotta keep knocking and the door shall be open. Matthew 7:7. Keep knocking. So you gotta be persistent with it. If there's nothing you can't do. You are unstoppable. Like, you are powerful. If there's no road, pave the road. Make it happen. If it's not invented, invent it. I remember I've been through some things where I was like on Google, trying to Google how to get my way out of something. And there was no way. And I realized I was the way. I'm somebody's answer. So all I had to do is get through the valley and get through the shadow of death, and I'll be able to tell somebody else how they can get through it. So you guys literally have to, you guys literally cannot let things get in your way. And if you're gonna let no stop you, you might as well quit now. Because they're gonna tell you no all the time. They're gonna say it can't be done, it's impossible, there is no position, and you just gotta.
All the time.
Even right now, I was watching Kevin Hart something on.
Did we lose it?
He works hard and ready to take his spot. Like, somebody's waiting and they're practicing every day and they're looking and they're just waiting for somebody to slip up so they can sneak right into that position. You want to be that person that is ready. You have the next shoe. You have the next hat. You have the next thing they're looking for. You made your own video. You didn't wait for them. You created a challenge and you got all these followers. Like, you want to already put it out there. And if God gave you the idea, you better run with it. Write the vision, make it plain, post it up for all to see. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will surely come to pass. Keep knocking. And like right now, people are saying, like, where does she come from for ministry? Where does she come from? Like, I've been doing this for 18, 19 years. It's just things are my season and my time now. So it's branching out. And so the same thing was with TD Jakes. He was doing it for years and he preached only like 15 people and then it launched and it went out. You have to be committed and dedicated to your project. You have to be married to it. You have to be, it's your baby. You are carrying your baby. You can't want somebody else to carry this baby to flourishing for you. You have to carry it and you'll birth it out.
Yeah,
You'll birth it out.
I literally, the project that I'm working on now is called Fall Ball. It's www.fallball.la. I started working on that project mid last year. I had it to a point where I got shut down and closed down so many times, and I finally got it to a point where it's going to happen at the USC campus at the Gavin Center at USC, and we finally got a date to have it happen. Coronavirus. So I'm like, oh. And then USC had some legal issues. I'm like, oh man. I kept pushing and we kept pushing, and finally we got the fire department, the police department, the school, TDE, a few other entities involved, and now it's looking like October. But the way our country is set up, it might get shut down in October. So I'm already making contingency plans for January. You cannot let no be the end of your dream, your career, and your business. Kyle will tell you, when I met him at Adidas, I had gotten no from Nike so many times that I had to start talking to other companies. So Reebok took me in. I had a high school education and I went to college for 1 semester. So I didn't have any of the credentials, and Kyle would see my struggle. Those guys would treat me like a rookie on an NBA team. And they would tell me no to everything. And so much so that I would sneak off and work on projects. And I worked on this one project called the Adidas Stokes Mid. And I was working on that project and nobody was paying attention to me. They were like, nah, I'm not going to help you. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And we only called it the Stokes Mid because every project needs a destination. And they were like, that's Stokes' stuff. They took that shoe out and they went to retail. And it had my name on it. That was the beginning of, I got to get out of here, because I was like, I was like $35,000 and I had a shoe at retail with my name on it. And guys in my group were making like $50,000. And I was like, nah, I'm going to start my own thing. I was like, but they shot me down. Kyle is the perfect person because he was there to watch. They shot me down after I got in. Yeah. After I got in there, oh, Kobe's coming to the office. Am I going to be in the meeting? I'm part of the basketball team? No. Kobe literally would have to see me and be like, yo, come over here. What's going on? What's up?
Right.
After you get in, you still get shut down. So if no is something you can't handle, you got to pray and you got to build your strength up. It's like, I can't speak for the ladies, but it's like, gentlemen, when you see that woman and you think to yourself, I have got to get to know her. I got to meet her. But you keep seeing her say no to everybody. Look at why she's saying no to everybody else before you approach her and get your no. And then when you get your no, if it's a stern no, reevaluate, maybe come back. That's my thing. I'm like, yo, no, no is no, but okay, but it goes with everything in life. I wanted to buy an expensive.
That's such a good example, though. I love that example. And I would like to say something too about the no's. The Bible tells us clearly to knock, ask, and keep on knocking. You can only knock on a door that's been closed. You can't knock on a door that's already open.
Right.
And it will open, especially if God brought you to it, you guys. And I mean, this is amazing because literally, I want to say something like my ex-husband is like one of the best designers you could ever meet. Like this man is so creative, you guys, and he's a genius. And I was not a creative person, but guess what? This is for somebody else. Being around a creative person taught me so much stuff. I mean, not to mention my background was in broadcasting, visual design, and production. I did work at the WB and ABC television. I've been doing radio since I was 15. So I knew how to be on camera, but I learned about marketing from watching these guys. I would watch Kyle in the house. I would watch Dallas at the office. I could see, and so when you're around that, guess what happens, you guys? It rubs off on you. And so I know what, I might not be able to get on Photoshop or Illustrator and do it, but I know what right looks like now. And I know what a jump cut looks like in a video. When you're around it, it rubs off on you. I learned how to make t-shirts. I was pregnant making t-shirts in my own house, you guys. I'd be making my own t-shirts. I learned how to get screens made. I learned how to, hey, back in the day, you know, you sewed your own logo in, so you ain't got the logos made at Matt's labels, and then you would cut that other label out and put your own label in if you had to. Like, you did what you had to do. I learned how to, the girls were going through my closet the other day, and they were like, Mama T, you have hoodies, you have hats, you have wristbands, you have shoes. And I learned how to put my logo on a puffy down jacket and rock my own stuff till people ask me. So I'm saying this to you guys to where when you're around other creative people, their stuff will rub off on you. Like listening to these conversations where Dallas is pretending to be your business partner and giving you real ideas, it makes you think in a different way. So you're getting something from him. You're getting something from Kyle. You're gaining something from me that you didn't have. So when you leave this meeting today, you're going to be in a better position and you're going to hear the voice of Dallas. He might come in your dream and say something just because that was the voice you heard it from. And I'm just saying, you guys have to know that the more you're around it, it will rub off on you. I don't know anything about playing piano, really, but let me hang out with somebody for a month. I guarantee I'm going to start with dun, 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 dun. It's going to start there and then it goes somewhere. Everything has to start somewhere. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not be willing to quit. Do not be willing to give up. Be committed, be dedicated, be that guy that says, I'm going to do this, or I've already done it. It's already done here, so it's already done. Okay, so, you know, and if it's in you, it's gonna be who you are. Like, who would know today all three of our paths would cross? Like, I would know Kyle was gonna get on the line, and Kyle should be at my house all the time. In the 6,000 square foot huge loft, creative space, and they would just be doing their creative thing. So I learned a lot of stuff, you guys, about all these things we're talking about because I watched other people. I was around successful people. I would go to the what's the clothing and apparel show twice a year in February and in September, magic show. I would go to the magic shows. You have to go look at linen. You have to go look at fabric. You have to know thread counts. You have to know dimensions. You have to know this stuff. And I just learned from being around them, paints and what to do, heat guns and all this stuff. You know, so we just put you guys in touch with the people that can make it happen. And these are the people that can help you make it happen. Go back to you, Dallas.
Oh no, you were dead on. That's what I was talking about earlier, the work side of it. There's a lot I like, for instance, in building shoes, I did not know that I was not going to be able to use inches. So I had to learn how to use centimeters, because when you send your work over to China, you can't send it with inches and feet and all that. No, it's millimeters, centimeters. What's the other one, Kyle?
Well, it's those two primarily.
Yeah.
Definitely millimeters for sure.
Yeah. So you have to learn a whole new metric system of measurement in order to learn how to work with factories in China.
Yeah, a lot of it is just communicating in a different way with people that don't speak the language as a first language. So like a lot of times when we send over, you know, like tech packs, you know, we're looking for feedback from them so that way, you know, to make sure that they understand what we want. And we want to be very clear about what it is that we want, because, you know, you don't want to leave it up to interpretation a lot of times. I'm sure Dallas will tell you about that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
If you know what? I always said you give.
What is the tech pack? What is a tech pack? What is a tech pack?
That's what I was about to say.
Kyle?
You give them everything. You give them how far it is from this sleeve, the top of this sleeve to here. You have to give them like what's that? You have to tell them how wide this. I'm so backwards with this screen thing. How wide this logo is and how high it is. You have to tell them how long the string coming out is, so that they'll know how to make it this long around. So tech packs are very important. Yeah. I've always said you have to be very dead on in the beginning, and things that you're unsure of is where you can give them a little interpretation. But what ends up happening too is you may design all this stuff. Everything you have seen in your life, someone had to sit down and design and measure. A spoon. There are people that sit and get paid big money to do spoons. So you give them all your information and they may come back and say, the way our machines are built, we can't do it like that. I've had that happen in my early career. I'd be drawing these great, crazy, incredible shoes and everybody be like, yeah, well, make it. And I'm like, okay, what? And then I find out they have these molds that they use your dimensions to create these molds. And you may do a mold that is too far out and they would have to build a whole machine in order to do it. And they're like, dude, you're making $50 shoes. We're not going to build a machine for your mold. So tech packs are very important. Even when you're in the States and you have a tailor downtown, it's very important that you give that tailor dimensions and measurements so that it comes out the way that you envision it. Because if you put it in somebody else's hands, you're going to spend more money because the first thing might not be right. The second thing might not be right. So that's what I was telling you guys earlier about knowing the business. On a t-shirt, when you go take it to a t-shirt print house, most people don't know, take a 12-inch ruler and use that as your box. 12 inches high, 12 inches wide. That's the most you're going to get on an average male t-shirt. So keep your designs within those parameters. Did I get that one right, Kyle?
Absolutely, man. I think it's important, I guess, for everybody to just kind of understand that you do have to own, you know, the important details of your business. And I think if you're doing apparel or footwear or both, you really need to either, you know, have people that understand that, but then it's also important for you to understand that as well. Yeah. You know, so I don't think you want to just kind of like pass it off and not really understand like that much of detail in terms of that part of the business. It's literally how you're going to make money, you know, based on the way something looks to the consumer. So it's very important. And then once your item goes to retail, like they have different requirements. So that's a whole nother, you know, level of leveling up, as we say, right?
Yeah, man. I'm glad you brought that up. I once shipped my first order from my company called Black Sheep. I shipped it out of China. It got to the distribution center and they basically told me, we're going to send it all back. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's like, yeah, it's going all back to you. And I said, why? They said, because the labeling on your boxes, you don't have labeling of every product that's inside of this box. We don't want to have to open up every box and go through it and check it. We want to see the sales bill and we want to see the label on the box and we want to put it on our shelf a certain way so that we know what to pull to send to which store. They will send your entire order back over not labeling your box properly to their DC, their distribution center. So that's why, Kyle, I don't know if you were on earlier when I was telling them, it's very important to know before you get into business, know the business of business. You know all these things. Can you imagine a $3.6 million order having to go back because I didn't put a 10-cent print on a box? They let it go that time, but they was like, if it ever happens again, you're done. I was like, if I have to come down there with a Sharpie and mark the boxes myself, it'll never happen again. But it's very important.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm glad you brought that up because I was just wondering about people who want to get into, like, I had an uncle that was able to get into like a Target and they got an end cap on Target, but they had to upkeep the whole West Coast and they did tester stores. So you guys talk about like getting into like a Walmart or Target, which is not unheard of because people do it all the time.
They have
I mean, and I know a lot of
yeah, they have minority programs that help with that, you know, as far as getting you in there. But Kyle, I think you have a bit of experience in that, right?
Yeah, I'll be able to talk a little bit more about that, I guess. So I had I guess since me and Taryn met up, I started a men's grooming brand and we got the product into Target. I did an accelerator program for Target and, you know, basically it was like a minority program initially for Black History Month. And so flew to Minnesota. They invited the brand to be able to, you know, represent there. And what it was really like kind of a test run for a lot of the Target people to figure out like what brands they liked and based on their participation. So they wanted to bring us in a more intimate setting which was called an accelerator program. So an accelerator is basically where it's a very condensed, very concentrated learning window of almost like either a week, 2 weeks kind of deal, but you learn literally soup to nuts what's required for, basically to be in Target. So we literally talk to C-level people all the way down to store management, which was, pretty phenomenal. So we spent the first week at Target, had literally fireside chats with, again, like C-level people who were able to, talk to all of the brands about what it's like to be in Target and why you want to be in Target. And if you weren't going to go to Target, they were willing to help you, get in some other doors. But, every question you had an answer for by the time you left. They had, like if you wanted to know what the shipper packages need to look like to go to the distro center, they had information on that. If you wanted to know, like how much they order typically, and then in terms of like what they look for as far as end cap support from the brand, they had, pretty much every answer for you. And that was just a phenomenal experience. I actually got another men's grooming brand in Target as well through the accelerator program. So he's in 400 doors. So it's a really good program. We get asked a lot from being alum, to introduce them to, brands that could be beneficial to the Target family. Because as you know, they're looking to be cool and hip as well. And so a main thing is, as you create something, if you go into it with the intent of going into major retail, that experience will help you tremendously. So I'm just, that's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah. And those programs, they really help. We were fortunate. We had a brand.
That is.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I want to hear about it. The question I was going to ask afterwards, you guys can both address it too, is how do you find some of those programs for people that want to find them? And the next thing I would want to know is, like, when you guys are done tackling that, about the people who just want to put it on their website and start with their website too, or if that's a great idea or not. So if you guys can both address that too, that would be really helpful after you continue talking about what you're talking about.
You want to take part one, bro? Because you closer.
Okay, so I think as far as Target goes, again, you could call and try to get in that way. Obviously, networking is the best way. Your network is going to be your net worth, and so I think LinkedIn is a tremendous asset to you. I would say in terms of like meeting, other professionals.
Kyle, I think we lost him. Did we lose him?
Oh, can you guys hear me?
I got you now. We got you.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
Left off at LinkedIn.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying LinkedIn is a tremendous resource. Don't feel scared to ask someone for a connection. Feel free to, the best way I would say is people compliments, do a little due diligence on who they are. And then, when you're able to write the little message, let them know why you want to follow them or why you want to connect with them. And I think that's going to be important. But you always want to do it in a way where, they're impressed based on your knowledge of them. And so you always have to frame it through the lens of what's in it for them. Like, don't say, hey, I'm trying to get into Target. Can you, connect with me? The best way to do it is say, hey, you know what? I really like, like the article that I saw you in Forbes, just wanted to follow you here, that kind of thing.
Is it? Did we lose him?
No, I was done talking. Go ahead.
All right. And then the second part of your question, Taryn? Prophetess, I'm sorry.
For those guys who are interested, who are saying, first of all, thank you for that information. Thank you very much, because I think that helps quite a few people who are wondering. about getting into stores and retailers and mom and pops and those different things. Now, for the person that says, okay, I have this idea, I'm just going to put it on my website and start marketing my website. Let me start with my website first. What would you say to that? And how do we get out of just our websites to move into something bigger?
Yeah, you know, that was kind of earlier. We addressed that. You know, building the strength of your network and building that up and things of that nature. But brick and mortar is not going anywhere. It's not going to die. So that's why we were talking about the tests, and as Kyle just alluded to the tests. I would say the best thing to do, which Kyle, if I'm wrong, or just chime in, build a following for your platform. It's just like I said earlier, they're not going to just sign a guy off the street, but they will sign a guy that found a way to get in front of 3 million people. You know, that shows that he is following 3 million people, and, you know, he can get into an arena of 10,000 people. They will definitely pay more attention to you. So I think that is hugely important if you want to get, and it's like Kyle said, you start networking, you find out what a sales director is, or what a DM is, a district manager, you know, and you work your way through those chains to find out who it is you have to. Sometimes even, if you go on the website, they will tell you where to go, like brand opportunities or looking to have your brand in such and such. They will help you with that as well sometimes. So those are ways you can definitely get from your website to retail, but you have to have a following, because it's very rare that a product is just so great that they're willing to spend millions of dollars to risk it.
Wow, that's really great. Someone just asked, are there any red flags you should be aware of when researching manufacturers?
Yeah.
Any red flags you should be aware of?
Yeah.
You started laughing.
If they cough like that when you call them, no, different. You know what? I'll say it like this: if it don't feel right, if it feels too good to be true, if they're too accommodating, that's when my red flags come up. Because anybody that's really in this and they're pushing the units, they're gonna have a stern set of rules that they need you to follow in order for you to be manufactured by them. So if you start, like, you know, talking to a retailer or something, and I mean, not a retailer, a production house, and you're like, I need 500 shirts by Wednesday, and it's Monday, and they're like, no problem. You know, like, no. The quality may be off, or the way they do business on the back end may catch up to you. So I would say that, you know, you want to, like, if you have children and you go and you look at daycares and you pull up to the daycare and the gate is wide open, that's a problem. You know what I mean? If you go in there and it's junky and treat your product the same way. If you go and you knock on a door, and sometimes you got to take that L, you got to take that sacrifice or whatever, and you got to just get your product made, but do it on a smaller scale. When you get to bigger scales in production and you start seeing things be a little bit shady, they're not a little bit shady, they're a lot shady. You're just not seeing the back end of how shady it is. And believe me when I tell you, I've seen that happen to the biggest of companies. We, as Adidas, we used to do a lot of work with factories in Bangkok. So we would have to fly over to Bangkok and we would go to the different factories, and you knew the one factory, the reason why Kobe shoe was being done here was because the quality was good. But then you drive all the way out, like an hour out of town, and you start shaking because there's no more ground and you're rolling on dirt. And that's where they got my $50 shoe at. And you're like, oh, okay. It's like, they don't care if this $50 shoe gets out here, apparently. So that's very important. I think if the presentation on the website just doesn't make sense, you know, I've had that happen. That's thrown me off quite a bit. So yeah, if it don't feel right, it probably ain't right. I'll be honest. Kyle, you.
Yeah, I'm back on. Sorry guys, I had to jump on my phone. Yeah, presentation is everything, especially when you get into retail. I would say before anybody makes the jump to go into retail, please, please, please do your due diligence to get your processes in place to where your business is running, where you have a process in place that is scalable. I think that's the best way I could explain it. Like if you pack and ship, that you have that as a solution. If you have to print anything, or if you have to, I guess bottle anything up, like that you have all of your supply chain figured out, and that you've worked out all of the kinks before you get into retail. Because trust me, they'll eat up a lot of your inventory, and then it's really up to you to go into those stores and buy that inventory back because you want a good relationship with the retailer. That's another part that people won't tell you. So the reason why you want to start off by having a really good presentation on your website, and by having, a real following. And what I mean by a real following is people that actually buy your product, not just people that just comment about it, but people that actually buy your product. You want to be able to figure out how to scale that part of your business, because that's the part that is going to attract all of the retailers, and it'll allow you the opportunity to be able to scale your business. If you don't get that part done first, and you go into major retail before you figure out how to scale your business, you will fail at major retail, and then you will have a problem in terms of getting back in.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier on your margins, and making sure you don't oversell your product. They may come to you and say, "Oh, we want 5,000 units." If you know your capacity is 3,000, push for that 3,000, because the minute you don't sell that other 2,000, they gonna want that out of there, and they gonna ask you for the money to get it out of there. And if you ain't got that money, you're out of there, and you got a bunch of product to sit on.
Yeah, they will send it back. I think the biggest thing is,
Someone can ask a quick question.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Kyle. I'll finish. There's a question. Dallas, or you can answer the questions down below afterwards by Dan asked the question. But go ahead and say what you're going to say, Kyle. Then look at the question.
What I'll give an example. So Target was 1 SKU per week. So if they take in 5 SKUs, then that means that you have to sell 5 of those SKUs once a week. So, imagine if you've got like 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 10 to 20 different SKUs. That's like a ratio, like, bless you, of how much you have to sell in a week at a particular location to make sure that those reports come back good as far as your business goes. And that's the most important thing, because they're going to do a test run with you. It'll be like some stores where they feel like you'll be able to perform, and it's really up to you to work your tail off to be able to market to your customer, to let them know to support you in that way to go into retail.
Okay. And let's see, you said, are there
That's really good.
print on demand
really good.
service is a good start, or should you have a product?
Is a print on demand service a good start, or should you have a?
You want to do that one, Dallas? I'll piggyback off you.
It depends. It really does depend on your brand. Print on demand is good if you don't have a lot of money to sell and buy and market your product, because then you'll get your orders and you'll be able to go from there. Product at hand is going to get you in more doors though, because 9 times out of 10, if somebody's going to buy from you, they're going to want to touch it and feel it. So print on demand is good for online selling. But it has its drawbacks, like, like I say, quality and things of that nature.
Huh.
Go ahead.
Let me just kind of piggyback in that as well. So
electric car.
So
Sorry?
print on
I don't know.
Someone had a question. So who had a question? Who was that? Somebody has a question for Kyle, I think. But did they have a question? Or did they just come off mute? Inbox.
I think.
Go ahead, Kyle.
So just repeat the question, because I can't see the chat board right now. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to ignore anybody. I'm just trying to, let me pull up the chat. So I found it. So it says
The name was Crystal, so I don't know if she has a question. Crystal, did you have a question? I thought I saw you asking a question to Kyle. Was that you or no? Okay, go ahead, Kyle. You can go ahead. They can put it in the inbox too if you guys have a question, or you guys can come off as well.
Okay, no problem. I'll I think we'll also leave our information so that everybody can, kind of contact us, and if they have any, needs or wants to reconnect, that'll be a good way to be able to do that. In regards to print on demand, again, to piggyback off what Dallas was saying, it's great for online when you don't know how many people are going to buy, an item, right? Like, so if you're testing a graphic or you're testing a actual, like collection or whatever, it's good for that. I think when you commit to it being on silk screen or replicating it that way, when you actually start, putting embellishments on garments, that's usually when you're, kind of at a retail situation, or you're actually taking an inventory position in terms of like products that you feel like you're going to sell no matter what season. You're going to sell the Just Do It t-shirt from Nike, the Adidas shirt with the tree. Yeah, so those are the types of shirts that you want to just go ahead and commit to silk screening. The other shirts where you're trying to figure out whether it's seasonal or it's, like it's a test for, to basically see if, if your brand could actually handle expanding itself out to a different market, then obviously direct to consumer is really good because you're not necessarily committing to buying the screens, or, in terms of the lead time is a lot different.
That's really great. That's good info. I see a question. Aaron, do you want to ask your question openly? You can come off mute and ask it. Aaron, do you want to ask your question openly? Let me see.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my bad. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just in the middle of picking up a mess right now in my kitchen.
Go ahead, come on, ask the question.
My question, I wanted to ask if so essentially you professionals or artists in general would work on a logo that a client would request, but my question is, so you work hard on this project and then you're ready to publish it, put it out, it doesn't follow through, whatever. You got to have that. I'm just wondering, like, how do you handle that sort of, I would say rejection or not. I mean, because I know right now I'm a very, very good artist, but I'll put something out. Let's say it doesn't sell. How do you keep going? How do you move on from that? Because sometimes we would just, even professionals would just want to quit at that point, sometimes. But how do you handle that personally? Do you just move on to another project, or you just go do something to get your mind off of it? What do you do? If you understand my question, just sorry.
Yeah, I guess let
me ask.
Let me kind of zoom into that really fast. I would say as a professional designer, like a lot of critiques are going to come from people who may not be a designer. They might just not be that close to the target market. Or critiques are just basically just personal opinions, or they're coming from data. And so what you have to do as a artist or someone that's creative is be able to handle critiques and what I call not criticism but just feedback. And depending on the political environment that you might be in, you might have to just deal with that feedback as it being, part of the bureaucracy of wherever it is that you're at. I think me and Dallas have definitely lived that, in our creative life, and probably, will. But I think that the bottom line is to understand your consumer. I would say that's the critical thing. And then basically make sure that as a creative that, you're humble enough to where you're asking the right questions and you can take feedback, but at the same time that you're strong enough in your mind and your ability that you always, coach yourself up to be able to continue to do what it is that you need to do. I think if you focus on improvement, then, you'll be fine. I think, you know, in year 1, obviously you're going to design differently than year 5, and you should, you know what I'm saying? So I would basically say to continue, you know, your journey, just, you know, continue working on your craft. You know what I mean? Like, no doesn't mean never, it just means not right now. Sometimes, you know, your design or your creativity might be forward, and it just might not be that season for that particular brand or what have you. So don't take that stuff, you know, with, you know, to heart. You almost just have to look at all of the dynamics behind why a design might be refused.
I'm I'm a bit of a jerk.
Thank you for that answer. I appreciate that. It was a bit. It felt like it was a bit of a.
Kyle, he grew up watching you. That was my son, Aaron. He was only like 9 or 10 when you were around.
What's up, man?
That's
yeah,
crazy.
long time no see.
So, but you did mention something about region too. So, Kyle, Dallas, I want you to talk about that too. Like region, he lives in Eugene, Oregon. So Eugene's not like the most creative place either. You know, there's sometimes you're in a wrong region.
It's artsy, like, but it's not like, it's super a lot of art, but it's not like where business flows. You know.
I mean, I just want to backtrack a little bit on it. I'm a bit of a different animal when it comes to it. You know, there's a couple of sayings that I keep in mind as being a creative person. The first thing is the one that Michael Jordan said about, you know, you take 1,000,000 shots, you miss 1,000,000 shots, and you know the saying, you miss 1,000,000 shots, but you hit the game winner. That's what counts. Not everything's gonna work. So I'm so deep into it for so many years that when it doesn't work, I just analyze why it doesn't work. But you literally have to treat that like when you play basketball, you can miss your first 3 shots and then score 30 points. You can just get on a rip and score 30 points. Never, ever, ever. I always tell designers, you're only as good as your last shoe. I remember when I was at And1 and I made the And1 slip on, and we were selling like millions of shoes out the back door. And the design director said, "Hey, look, I don't like the new stuff I've seen from you. And if it doesn't change, we're gonna have to change the way we do business." At the time, I was unprofessional. I wasn't professional enough to understand that meant, let me get more input on what you guys think work, because you know I know what works now, what you guys think work. So a week later, I was working at Skechers. So, you know, and I say that to say, don't let your ego make the work bigger than what it is. You're not going to get everyone right. For every success I have 2 failures behind it. But the thing about the failures that I had behind it was I studied from the failures and I learned from those failures, and I was able to apply that to more successes. But do not let it, I mean, like I said, I'm a different animal. For me, when I have a failure now, I'm kind of like, well, yeah, I knew that was coming. You know what I mean? And that's only because I can see a bigger scope of things. Whereas in the past, I was getting eaten alive on certain things, and it would really bum me out and break me down. But if I let that stop me, I wouldn't be able to keep going. So don't let it bother you, man. You missed your first 3 shots on the court. Coach sent you to the bench. Second quarter, about 5 minutes in, he puts you in. You go on a rip into halftime, and coach will be like, "Yo, I got to put him in the game starting in the third," and you continue going like that.
Awesome. You guys, we're going to do something really quickly because I want you guys to connect with what we got going on. And we'll take like 3 more questions when we come back real quickly. What I want to do is, you guys know, we always offer these seminars to everyone. Definitely no charge, but you know, for me, for ministry, we love to connect and collect. And I want to give a blessing. He never asked, doesn't even know I'm about to do this, because that's what we do. And so if you guys are connected with me, you guys know we're going to give an offering and we're going to bless the man of God. And we thank God for both of them, actually. Like, I need to bless Kyle too now. But that's what we do. So I'm going to put the information on there for you guys to give, and we're going to give 2 minutes, and we're going to come back, and then I'm going to pray over you guys with your guys' offering. We are connecting. We are opening, expanding. We connect to the person, and we actually are getting information from them and receiving that. And I love it because we're planting seeds into this. So if you know the name of your business, put the name of your business on there as your seed offering. Put on there, my future successful business, you know, my successful business, my successful company, you know, and then type it that. So real quickly, go ahead, and we're going to give you a minute. We're going to let you listen to some awesome worship beats, and we'll be right back. really quickly. Go give. No, go ahead. Someone asked me a quick question. They said, what number is God giving today? And it's been in 3. So if it's 3, which Trinity. So 33. And multiply that by the next one. So the next one. So if you're gonna do it, have a 3 in it. 93, 303, 3,003, 3,000,003, whatever you guys get. That's what you sell, but do it in 3s. Okay, have a 3 in there. Amen. God bless. 33 is the same number now. For those of you who are new, then you guys don't understand. Like anytime I see somebody who has something great, whether it's a house they have or it could be a business they have. One of the things that I do, I will literally sew into them. I just saw this legacy center in Atlanta, and I was like, hey, I need to sew into you. And they're like, well, they're already wealthy. Aren't we going to give to the poor? Look, if I know who I'm sewing into, then I know that that wealth transfers to me, and I have the abilities that they have. So I love doing that. I had to learn those principles because before, even if I'm going to do something, we do a lot of things for homeless people and different things, and I love that. But I want to have something to offer them where they can no longer be homeless anymore. You know, I want to give them skills. I want to give them a job, so they're going to be hungry again tomorrow. So how do we give bigger things? Which means you have to gain more wealth. Which means you can open up agencies. Which means you can host different things. You can own the adoption agency. You can do programs for people. You can, you know, have your own type of goodwill or something. So you have to think bigger and better because God gave you the ability to gain wealth. And so as people that know God on this line, you literally have to be able to tap into what he wants you to have. He's giving you the ideas. He's giving you guys the ability. So all the people, I love the fact that, so if you just said, oh, I'm gonna take this information, just thank you, it's free. You just missed the whole opportunity of it. And so Dallas was kind of shocked because when we did a meeting with him at my house, we all started blessing him. He was like, whoa, wait, what are you doing? We're like, nah, look. And he was like, no. I was like we're like, yes. Like, yes, we're sowing into you. And literally many of us have given our way out of situations. I'll find the biggest way to bless somebody who has something that I know that I need because I'm sowing into what they have and it becomes a part of me. And it's just reaping and sowing. What farmer goes and plants a seed without expecting a harvest? So all of you guys who planted seeds, I'm really excited about it. And I love this opportunity because this is what we do. All of us, we live to give, period. And if you give seed to the sower, but you have to already be a sower. If you're like, oh, this is hard times, I'm not going to give. This is how I'm giving my way out. So I'm really excited. So Father God, I just thank you for every person on this line who is listening to you, wants to hear your voice, and wants to know the ideas that you have put in us, the creativity you've given us, these things, God, that are from heaven that you've imparted into us, and you brought us here to do some things. And so we just say we trust and rely confidently in you. Every person that's operating in fear, we cancel the spirit of fear. God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but love, power, and a sound mind. I thank you for greater wealth. I thank you for every person that has a project on the line right now. I just speak success to your project. I speak that it's going to be in the right hands at the right place at the right time. I speak that it's going to do more than you could ask, imagine, or think. And I'm just praying that God would release your next person that's the partner person that you need. That next big deal, it's already there. That those doors begin to open that were closed. And wherever they said no, may your no's turn to yeses. May you have hope. May you look in the right direction. May you bring the connections. God's going to bring the connections that you need in this season. And I want you to switch your heart and your mind to begin to expect God to do it for you, because it's already done. God will change rules, regulations, policies, and procedures for you. Those doors are open. Your next project is a must because God put it in your heart and he put it in there, and we commit every project to him, and it's going to bring you everything that's supposed to bring you. I thank you that there'll be no one has poverty on this line. No one is barely making it on this line. Nobody is having to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. We are literally overflowing with income and wealth that we can be a blessing to others. And this wealth, we keep this wealth. This one we're able to carry on to our children's children. We're opening doors. We're transforming lives. We're helping people in the mighty name of Jesus. And I'm thanking you, Lord, that it's done and that you are bringing glory and honor to you, God, that you've given us the ability to connect and love and share information with people today. May it be sealed in them. And when they go to sleep tonight, I pray for ideas. I pray that you bring the people, even in the next 7 days, will be transformation with their projects, that they would move into the areas that they're supposed to. And those doors that were closed will open. In the mighty name of Jesus, I decree it in Jesus' name. I thank you, Lord Jesus. Amen, 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 amen. Woo, I felt that. Now, last time I said I'm going to hear testimonies, I heard testimonies like the next day. So I expect to hear testimonies from you guys. I expect those doors to open. I expect you guys to have divine connections. I expect you guys to be able to host basketball tournaments and be able to do amazing seminars for people. I expect you to be all over the world, and I expect to hear your copyrights that were approved and that you started on your projects. I want to hear that from you. Amen, amen, amen. Just say, I receive, I receive, I receive, I receive, I receive. Receive it, because it's already landing on you. Okay, so a couple of people let's take 3 more questions, and then I know it's been long, I'll let you guys go, but also if you want to book a one-on-one, or if you need to reach Kyle and you couldn't find him on social media and he couldn't put his information in, you can contact me. I'll get Kyle's information from either Dallas or I'll connect with Kyle somehow. And so that you guys can connect with him. If you want a one-on-one too, please let me know so I can connect you with either one of these guys. But definitely on the website, Dallas is under lifelinetnt.org. You can schedule your one-on-one, and it's priceless. It's priceless. I don't even want to tell you what some of the big people have to pay him just to get those consultations. So you guys do not have that. It's like, it's just in and out. It's awesome. Okay, so who has a question? Anybody want to come off mute and ask your question? I think Alexa said that Felicia had a question too. I don't know if she's still on. Anybody? Go ahead. Okay. You guys got it? No more questions, you guys? They answered a lot. Okay, Dallas, I'm going to let you go ahead and close, you and Kyle, and do your closing remarks, and I'm excited.
Oh, well. Kyle, you can go for it.
Okay, perfect. I'm off of mute. No, I just wanted to thank everybody, I guess, for their time, and it was amazing to reconnect with so many amazing familiar faces that I will be seeing really soon, and also so many new faces that I don't know yet that will probably have a really great relationship with as well. So I think things like this, in times like this, it's very important for us to, not only be humble about, just the journey, but then also in terms of, with people's time, just be very gracious. So I'm just very thankful that everyone was able to, receive whatever they were able to receive, in this season. So thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kyle, for your time. The two of you guys just like a dynamic duo. So it's really great to see the both of you guys on here. I was like, God gave us double. And that's what we've been saying this week. We're like, everything's happening in doubles. Like, it's good. Because, Dallas gets all shy sometimes. And he was just come out of his bubble. So he had some help. You were his Wonder Twin power today. So they're saying, thank you, Dallas and Kyle, for this priceless information. Looking forward to learning and gleaning from you in the future. That was from Shawnee in West Virginia. Thank you. This is from New Jersey. Thank you so much for taking the time to help us and give us great information. That's from Jamel. He's a graphic designer. Thank you for this awesome, insightful information. That was from Desiree. We have a lady in Oregon, and that's Emily. She's doing she even said she contacted her lawyer while she was speaking from something that you said from this while you were speaking. She contacted them right away. And so Tish is saying, thanks for the insight. And she's in Seattle. Drea saying, this is life-changing. Thank you guys for real. Tons of information here. Thank you from Paint and Worship for the information you gave them. And he said, stop talking, make it happen, make it happen. So I love that. So Alexis is saying from Arizona, thank you so much for taking time to help us all. Aaron from Oregon. Anybody else? Who are you saying? Yay, you guys are amazing.
You know what? I owe quite a few people an apology because I'm not yet very Zoom savvy, so I didn't scroll down and realize there were other questions. So if I missed anybody's questions, I apologize. I'm not a Zoom.
That's okay. I'll train you a little bit. I'll help you. Maya says thank you. Whoever admin is, it says you are amazing and well as well, prophets. Oh, thank you very much, admin. I don't know who you are, but I think I saw you on the last one. So God bless you. Look forward to reading any of you guys. If you need a one-on-one with me too, it's on our line too. So I'm available for you guys if you need anything. But we're bringing you guys the ability to dream and to dream big with people who've already been where you want to go, and that their feet have been places that you desire to be. And so, oh, that's Kiki. I didn't say it's you, Kiki, because I think it's me. Please. Kiki, it says Taryn Tarver, but I'm like, my hands are right here. It's like, it's not me. She's on mine. So say this is Kiki. Thanks, Dallas. So amazing for the information. I did try to get Felicia a question, but I don't think she's on anymore, Shawnee. I asked twice. So
I'm here, Mom.
Is she there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. She can ask her question.
Okay. Hi, how y'all doing tonight? I do What's on Your Table Tonight, and so I was asking if you was going to trademark like a TV show and like put it on shirts. So should you trademark them to put them on shirts, or?
I saw that one. I think I answered that one. No, that's more of a copyright, I think, issue.
Okay.
Than a trademark issue.
Okay. Thank you, because then I now know which way to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, but when you get legal counsel, they will help you and they will tell you. That's why I say, I do believe that is a copyright. Trademarks really apply more to, but then again, you know what? You may be right. It may be a trademark issue. So I go back to get legal counsel, get in the business of the business first.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right.
Awesome. So LegalZoom, you guys call LegalZoom or even look up your questions. Also a paralegal is pretty good sometimes, but just make sure they know what they're doing. Because that could be in trouble if you don't. All right, so go ahead, Kyle and Dallas, we thank you. Kyle, Dallas, do you have Kyle's number?
Yeah. Okay,
because I'll message Kyle. So Kyle, I want to just drop you a little love offering if you'll let me in your Cash App or Venmo. So if you can get my number, and I'll message you from the Lifeline. We throw people the Lifeline, and we help to extend and help them promote their businesses and help people and learn who God is and walk in their power, their authority, transforming lives and their businesses. And we are doing it all across the world. And I love that. So thank you guys so much. Mwah. I just can't thank you guys enough. I'm so glad we got both of you. This is like more than I could have asked for. So, and we will talk to everyone soon. This week, don't forget all the announcements. What is today? Today's Sunday? Okay, Wednesday, leadership training class, you guys. You know how that goes. It's pretty awesome. Friday, we have the marriage seminar. And then from there, we have the business development. I think we're doing credit repair. We're doing the makeup artist and how to get into the music industry as well is coming up, and the conflict resolution. So we love you guys so much. Oh, good. I have Alexis. I have a one-on-one with you tomorrow. Praise the Lord. I think you're my only one because I think I told him I was off for 2 days. I'm so tired. But I love you guys tremendously. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, somebody said prophetic class. Oh, thank you. May 9th. That's Saturday? This coming Saturday? This coming Saturday? Oh, if you guys have not registered for my prophetic school, you do not want to forget that. And so thank God for everybody. My team here is telling me prophetic school Saturday. Do not forget, be there or be square. But so next week, somebody said next week on the 9th, whatever day the 9th is, you guys, it's that day. Saturday. This Saturday? Okay, he said this Saturday. Okay, guys, so I love you tremendously. We will talk soon. And the replay of this is on YouTube, so you can catch us on YouTube. We did not record fully on Facebook. We just teased them on Facebook and told them to get on Zoom. So thank you guys. Have an awesome, awesome, awesome day. Let me see, where'd Bree go so she can do the music? Good Lord, my team. Where is everybody? Bree. Hold on. All right, guys. Be on there. Here it comes. They're gonna sign you guys off. So lifelinetnt.org. Can you post that, please? Here we go. Dre's doing a song. You guys want to hear it from Dre? You guys know he does music. You guys, he's awesome, and he's dropping a new CD in like a week. Kiki, post the where they can Lifeline TNT. Underlay. Oh, these.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. I gotta.
Guys, we're out of order. All right. Come on. Who is Jesus? Jesus is my master, my Lord, and my Savior. He is the firstborn of the begotten sons. He is the true living God. He is the Son of God. He is God. Let me explain to you, because a lot of people don't know who Jesus is. I hear a lot of people saying, in the name of Jesus, but they have no power back in the name of Jesus. When we say in the name of Jesus, that is your passport to be able to have all of access to heaven. That when I say in the name of Jesus, the power backs that name. It is my passport to get everything that I need on earth as it is in heaven. Because I have a relationship with him. Because he's a real person. Because it's not a God, he's my God. Let me go to the word of God and explain to you why he is so amazing. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. That's John, the first chapter. When you go to the 9th verse and the 3rd verse, they tell you two things. All things were created by him. All things were created by him. All things were created by him, with him, and nothing was created that was not created by him. What? He created the heavens and the earth. He's the one that's speaking, let there be light. When it says Elohim, in the beginning, God created. That word Elohim is God created. They're talking about the same person. He is God. Now, when you look in the 9th verse of John, the 1st chapter, the Bible says, the true light, which enlightens everyone. The 10th verse says, he was in the world, and the world was created by him, but the world did not recognize him. If that's not enough, go to the Word of God and see who is this Jesus. Why everything must obey him? Because he created everything, because he holds everything together, because he is the way, the truth, the life, and our Lord. Read in Colossians, the 1st chapter. It tells you in the 13th verse. But matter of fact, let's just skip to 15. He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. And by him, all things were created, things in heaven and things on earth, visible, invisible, whether they are thrones, dominions, principalities, or powers, all things were created by him. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. He is the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning, the firstborn of the dead, so that in all things he would have preeminence. He is God. Now, many people get confused because they say the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Now, they are one, that they may be one as we are one. In John, the 17th chapter and 11th verse, he tells us that the name Jesus is an earthly name. It was left here for us that we could have protection. He said in John, the 17th chapter and the 11th verse, protect them by that name, the name that you gave me. He gave the name for us as an earthly name of protection. Right now in heaven, he is revealed not as Jesus, but he is the Lamb of God. He is Elohim. He is. Now watch this. It was prophesied by the prophet Isaiah. He said in the 9th verse, for unto us a child is born, for unto us a son is given. The government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, hallelujah, and the Prince of Peace. Now, who is he to us? He is our master. He is our Lord. He is our Savior. He is God. He is amazing. And do you know what he does? Everything. Greater works shall we do because he went to the Father. He is the reincarnated. He is Jesus. Hallelujah. He is the resurrected life now. He is the glorified risen. He is amazing. He is powerful. He holds all things together. Oh my goodness. He came in a physical being so we could know what it was like to walk on earth, just as he walked on earth. He had to be able to relate with us as human beings. He's so good as God that he emptied himself of all deity so he could relate to you. He knows about your weaknesses. He knows about your sicknesses. He knows about your sorrow. He knows what it's like to be ridiculed and talked about and beaten. And yet he carried his cross and he went to the cross. He wouldn't accept anything that would take away from the pain which you carried. He had to carry it. And it is written, hallelujah, that he gave up his life for you and me. So this is Jesus. This is God. This is when you say, in the name of Jesus, you go with the power and the authority, and all the power that was given to him is now be given to you. So now worship your God, your master, your Lord, and your Savior, for he is the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through the Son, except what he did for you. In Jesus' name. Amen. Word. It'll be out soon. God bless you guys. Love you guys.